Hello, and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm your host, Adam Riancho. It's Thursday, July 30th, 12:30 p.m., and we're here for an early live stream. I'm not convinced that the mini schnauzer will be open tonight, so I'm going to be drafting for at least a couple hours here, and it's a different time of day, but it's always drafting time. At this point in the year, it's always drafting time, so we're going to hop in. We're also going to talk about the camp news. We will run through the news feed on Underdog on their website. Let's get into it. Let's go. Vámonos, muchachos. Let's go. At this time of day, I don't think I'm smoking just yet, but let's bring in the chat real quick. We got Chad in here. He is Fimpst and first today. What's good? Roni Baloney, good afternoon to you too. Scott Young, good afternoon as well. Not always seeing y'all in the afternoon, but good to be here. Let's go, Danimal, indeed. And then best pick on the board, Hall of Famer Hunter Henry. Watch him make the Hall of Fame. Watch him actually make the Hall of Fame. And he just has a very long, prolific career. Hunter Henry is a stud. He's a great pick. He is a great pick. Maybe he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's a great pick. All right, let's take a look. This is the first piece of news since last night when I left you with PJ Locke in Dallas. But 6 hours ago, we'll just run from here up to the top. Drake London's healthy. Tua is doing individual drills. The Puka Nacua extension appears to be unlikely this summer. Some weird off-the-field antics. I can kind of get it. Jahmyr Gibbs not practicing with his holdout. Darius Slayton is healthy for camp. That's something. Calvin Ridley practicing on Thursday. Feel like he's a trade candidate as well as Jerry Jeudy this season. Ramondre Stevenson also practicing. That's positive. Shamar Stewart is out several weeks for the Bengals. That's a bummer. Rome Odunze says his foot feels great. That's positive. Do we trust him as the only source on that? I guess we have to. At the moment, I think I would just trust Rome Odunze. I'm not going to overthink that one. I'll take it at face value. But Jahmyr Gibbs, coach, downplays the absence. I mean, last year, Drew Petzing ran an offense without a running back, so maybe that'll be the case. But I feel pretty sure that Jahmyr Gibbs will get his contract. I would assure you he's still a pretty good pick. The fact that him and Bijan are both holding out, I kind of think it's just noise. I don't give a shit. But Treylon Burks misses practice. That's not positive. DeAndre Hopkins no longer on Patriots sideline. He is moving off of the Patriots and their camp entirely. Okay. Didn't know that was a factor with him. He's kind of off my radar. But Jaden Reed apparently healthy for camp. That's good. Chris Rodriguez is being eased in as he should, but as long as he's doing something, that's kind of all I need to know regarding Chris Rodriguez. I'm fine with C-Rod at his current price. I think he's a value. I expect him to be healthy. But Shador, again, working with the first team. I think the Browns' quarterback to draft is Shador Sanders. I have no faith in Deshaun Watson. The massage looked washed last year. I have no faith that Deshaun Watson has anything to play for. He has a fully guaranteed contract. There's really nothing incentivizing him to step up. I think Deshaun Watson is cooked. So Shador, the only Browns quarterback worth drafting, and they have some weapons. I've actually been warming up to the idea of drafting him the last few days. Not gonna lie. I'm not saying to take him a lot, but maybe if you've never taken him before, might as well in the last round. If you have, let's say, a Concepcion or Fannin already on the roster, but Trubisky's able to practice. Who cares? Baker frustrated by the contract talks. I think they're going to force him to play it out. If he signs, it's not going to be until like the week before the season, something like that. I wouldn't be shocked after missing the playoffs last year that they're not fully sold on Baker because he has been getting hurt. That is a factor with him. But Cade York, not on my radar whatsoever. Recovered from a groin injury, whatever. Eli Stowers is healthy for camp. Okay. I still trust Goddard. Chris Brazzell, though, done for the season. Damn. That's a bummer. That is tough. If anything, it opens the door for, some people will say Leggett, but I would say maybe John Mechie. I think if anything though, you just trust Jalen Coker a little bit more. It's probably Coke season. It's probably time to pick up a little bump, or a can of Coke if you want to. Those glass bottles that are specifically intended for Coke. The Mexican Coke bottle. That's what it is. We need more Coke in our lives. Jalen Coker is the pick. I think I want more due to this news. But Tet, I think, still goes where he's appropriately going. Losing Brazel, there was an argument that he would open it up for him. So I think, if anything, it's just kind of a little bit further down on the Panthers passing game. But this question mark on Leggett, favorite for receiver 3, we'll see. I don't really trust that. Kelsey looking sharp to begin training camp. Feels like propaganda. But regardless, he just needs to be healthy. That's fine. But Jordan Whittington, early favorite for receiver 3. I don't know if I believe that, but it's completely up for grabs, so who knows. Kayshon Boutte hoping to remain with the Patriots. That's positive. I think he has the most value with the Patriots. I think chemistry with Drake May is kind of what's keeping him afloat. I think if he went to a different quarterback, there's not that many I would feel too good about. So Kayshon Boutte, I hope if you're drafting him, if you ever did, he does remain with the Patriots. I think that's where he's most valuable. But Stetson Bennett ahead of Simpson to begin camp. Not a huge shocker, but that can easily change within a week. That kind of means nothing. And then Puka, strong start to training camp. That's good. He's out of rehab at least. But A.J. Brown clicks with May on Thursday. People were saying he lost his step yesterday. I think with A.J. Brown, it's all about motivation. I think with A.J. Brown, it's not a question of talent. I don't think he's washed. In my opinion, he's still in his prime, still only 29 years old. It's just a question of, is he ready to step up on any given snap? Or is he coming back to the sideline and picking up the book? I think this year, the chip on A.J. Brown's shoulder, especially hearing people question how he looks, I'm in on A.J. Brown this year. I like that I took a lot of my shares in round 3, but even in round 2, I think once Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are off the board, I think it makes sense that he's the next guy in round 2. I think I'd rather have A.J. Brown than Drake London, but looks like we made it to the top of the news feed. Let's catch back up with the chat. This will be kind of a periodic thing that we do on the live streams, just check in on the news feed, because Underdog just wraps up a lot of information that's valuable to know. Some things more valuable than other news blurbs, but still, it's valuable. But what's up, Keith? Nice to see you. Gold Tempo, how we doing? Good afternoon to you. Carrie Silvers, let's go. Welcome in. Avi Hoppin says, Gibbs not playing around. Rome is a third option in the offense not on board this season. Actually, fourth behind Loveland, Swift, Burden. He's getting more targets than Swift. Will he get more touches than Swift? Of course not. But I don't think there's that much of a difference between Rome and Burden in total points. I think in redraft, he's actually the better pick because you get more consistent week-to-week play. In best ball, though, I understand why Burden goes high. He has probably the higher ceiling any given week. But I wouldn't write him off. I think him versus Jordan Tyson, I would rather have Rome Odunze. And then once you get to Michael Pittman, give me Rome Odunze by far. Him versus BTJ, though, is a very interesting conversation. Him versus DJ Moore, Christian Watson. I can understand being low, but ultimately, I think I'm still in on Rome Odunze. Same price as last year, and when he was healthy, he did crush. But Avi says Watson's cooked, but man, he was so elite on Texans. If you want to live in the past, Avi, go for it. I'm not going to spend any capital on the massage. But Danimal, glad we can make you laugh. Yo, what's up, Who Hames? Family soup to you too. If anyone hasn't checked out Who Hames, give him a sub over on his channel. Some awesome takes over there. He was live with us on Tuesday. We discussed the entire tight end position based on ADP, told you who was a smash pick, who were good picks, tiered based rankings, which picks to avoid at ADP, at tight end. That one was awesome. Check out the replay. And shout out our boy Who Hames. Get this man to 1,000 subs. But speaking of our boy, Fantasy Football Garage, also in the house. What's up, Chris the Candyman? Check him out as well. Good friend of the channel. Awesome takes, awesome live streams over there. But Jalen Diet Coker, I wouldn't say he's on aspartame this year. I think we're getting straight sugar, straight pure cane sugar. Give me the Mexican version of Jalen Coker, the Mexican Coke version. Authentic sugar. I don't want no high fructose corn syrup. I want the pure throwback in the glass bottle. None of that canned bullshit with a plastic lining. I hate Coke from a plastic bottle. Anytime you get soda from a plastic bottle, it's just fucking gross. Jalen, Mexican Coker, specifically the one from Mexico. But what's up, Wilson? How we doing? AJB is a top 5 receiver, says Avi Hoffman. I can see it this year. I could totally see it. I could see it. He is such a good quarterback. It's probably a bigger upgrade from last year with the Jalen Hurts to Drake May difference compared to the JJ McCarthy to Kyler Murray difference that Justin Jefferson is getting. Like, all due respect to Kyler, he's solid. He's pretty good. He can definitely make magic happen. But, like, only by comparison to JJ McCarthy are we hyped on it. I think underrating Drake May is, I think, a disservice to the Patriots passing game. AJ Brown should crush this year. Maybe not a Randy Moss caliber season. Maybe not 23 receiving touchdowns. But still, I think in a similar vein, with the trade, they want to be flashy on offense this year. They want to help Drake May. AJ Brown should be a good pick, even in the second round. But got a sick pass over Gonzalez today. Moss and Gonzalez. Love to hear that. We doing a BBM? No, we're entering the mini Schnauzer. Basically, until it fills. I think if I do 3 of them, it's possible that this thing is totally full. It's 87% full. There's 5,000 spots left. I'm going to enter a mini Schnauzer. Let's just catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll do it. Y'all are piling it on, though. What's up, PD? What's up, Hartman? Shout out Hartman FF. We were live with him on Monday. That one was a lot of fun. Solid takes and excellent drafts all the time with Hartman. Great time with our boy Hartman. Avi says Rome is still solid, but I feel like Bears want to make Burden the one. I feel like that's a little bit of wish casting. I think they just want to make Loveland the number one. I think to project Burden as the top target over Loveland, I think is a little too much. But the can of Coke is much better than the plastic bottle. The can of Coke, especially like out of an ice chest, that is probably like the best version of it, other than ice cold Coke out of the glass bottle. That's the next best level, I think. But McDonald's fountain Coke is also pretty premium on the experience chart. But appreciate that, Wilson. Yeah, that one was fun. That was long, but if you have the patience, a lot of good info there. Really, really good times. Howdy, Shamrock. Nice to see you this afternoon. But Jack Dog, that tight end video really helped your draft strategy. Appreciate that. Straight booger sugar, says Roni Baloney. That version of Coke, maybe the original throwback. Maybe we'll just never know. But I agree with this, Who Hames. In general, you should stop drinking soda. In general, you should. The occasional one, I can't help myself on a nice Dr. Pepper or a random Sprite. But I try not to overdo it. I agree with this sentiment. At least half of it. I'm not going energy drinks. I'll just keep smoking weed. I like lemonade. I like a watered down lemonade quite a bit. But no, we don't approve of la cocaína. That's different. Game Tight just checked my Brazzle exposure. 10%, not feeling great. What's mine? Holy, I don't think I have any Brazzle. I think I may have dodged a bullet. What's my Brazzle exposure? I have 0.8%. I have 0.8% Chris Brazzle. That feels pretty solid. I've taken him twice, a total amount of $9 spent on Chris Brazzle Dazzle. In the pre-draft, it might be different. What was my pre-draft exposure? I'm curious now. But we will draft, I promise you. I'm just kind of chilling with y'all. 1.1% in the pre-draft. Sweet, I dodged a bullet. Yeah, a total of 4 shares, 2 in pre-draft, 2 in the regular season. That's nice. I did not spend more than... I spent a total $22 on Chris Brazzle. That is very negligible. That does not hurt me whatsoever. Sweet. I don't trust Bryce Young, so I was never considering his third option any valuable. But Avi Hassman says Diggs didn't do shit in playoffs, could not get open. You know what was interesting about Diggs? He was heavily targeted, but he actually didn't do shit until Kayshon Boutte left the field. Like, Diggs couldn't find the end zone until Kayshon Boutte was out. Diggs' game long is not that impressive. Diggs is very much correlated to Kayshon Boutte missing time. I'm gonna pull this up just to prove my point real quick. But let me bring it in. It's the middle of the day, so I don't think I need to go dark mode. I can just keep it the regular version. But I'm scrolling, I'm finding it. Here it is. Here we go. All right, these are the Patriots game logs. And like there were a couple good games out of Diggs. Like maybe I'm overselling how bad he was because weeks 4 and 5, he did score 13 and 19 points. Sorry, let me get this off the board. But if you look at the weeks where Kayshon Boutte was out, weeks 10 and 11, as well as 17, those 3 games in particular were 3 of his by far best games. 13 points, 46 yards and a touchdown. The next week, 9 catches, 105 yards. Week 11, I think week 17, he may have played the Jets, but still, that game was without Kayshon Boutte. He averaged about 15 points per game when Kayshon Boutte was out. Otherwise, there were very few instances where he went over 11 points. He didn't score that many touchdowns on the season, only 4, and 2 of them were in the 3 games without Kayshon Boutte. So Stephon Diggs needed volume as really just like week 4 and 5 when he went over 100 yards. Otherwise, Stephon Diggs was kind of mid, honestly. He needed Boutte off the field. So that's a little interesting nugget on Stephon Diggs. But yeah, some of the production was actually just neat. Only correlated without Kayshon Boutte. But Sladen, watch on the way to work, on the way to brunch. Yeah, for you, that's got to be trippy. For you, you're usually heading to work late at night. This is definitely different. But you know what, Keith? You got it. You got it. How we doing, DJ Quill? I'm doing well. We're about to finally draft. I've caught up with the chat, and nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. So it's time. The mini schnauzer is here. I've delayed it 18 minutes, but we were having fun. We're going to draft in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Vamonos. 6 spots remaining. If you want it, come on down. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, a 1% Brazzle sigh of relief. No issue with that. But interesting, I have pick 4. And honestly, I think I'm going to change my rankings. I think pick 4 is where I might start to mix it up. I like Puka, but based on recent developments, I might just take Christian McCaffrey, pick 4. Start off with a running back and then still like my options in round 2. I think structurally, given just how the board goes, I think it's totally fine to take Christian McCaffrey over Puka Nacua. I think it's actually okay. But what's up, Disbanded? How we doing? Yeah, my teams with Ricky Pearsall, those ones might be cooked. That's a bummer. I think he will play some. But obviously, I've been taking him a little bit too much last few weeks. You won't see me do it for a while. Last night, if you stayed for the Chow Chow, I passed on Ricky Pearsall at pick 154. In the 150s, I didn't take Ricky Pearsall. For a $50 buy-in, I wanted to ignore the risk. It kind of pained me, though, when he went off at 158, and I didn't get him at 159. But, he had several big games, but 5 of them he only had 5 really usable games. 5 big games with like at least 13 points, a couple with 19, but nothing over 20 points. And 3 of those 5, Kayshon Boutte was missing. So if you told me he goes to the Commanders and Terry misses some weeks, then maybe. But I'm not totally sold on that. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to actually take Christian McCaffrey here at 4. I'm gonna let the team at 5 get Puka, and I'm actually not gonna be upset about it. I'm okay with it. I might look back and be kind of upset, but in all honesty, I've gotten quite a few shares of Puka already. I believe I have like 11% Puka, whether it's at a discount or at pick 4. I actually have quite a bit of Puka Nakua. I haven't gotten many pick 3s, so I'm a little underweight on Jamar Chase, but some of those picks have just gone to pick 4 and 5, where Puka's still looking at me, and I usually take him. So I'm willing to do it because of my exposures. If you told me that you only have like 5% Puka, then maybe don't do it. But because I can afford this, I'm going to mix it in. I think I'm going to like my team and my build actually quite a bit by starting running back from the 4 slot. But Daryl says Diggs blows. He's a little over. He's past his prime for sure. A little overrated. But Diggs stats were literally A.J. Brown's. Yes, but A.J. Brown was playing with Jalen Hurts. Diggs was playing with Drake May. In theory, A.J. Brown should be much better. Diggs should probably get worse by moving off of Drake May. You know, like the Drake May factor, I think, is what inflates Diggs' stats. And then, you know, the weird vibes in Philly that you can mostly attribute to A.J. Brown. It's kind of more his own doing. It's kind of his own fault. But I think year 1, it's not going to be as much of a cancer on the locker room as it was in Philly. You know, new vibes, fresh start. Over time, he'll wear himself out. Kind of just like Stephon Diggs. Over time, you're kind of done with it. But year 1, you're going to be a little bit more sharp and like on your P's and Q's, just so you don't, like, you know, piss in the pool water just to set it off on the wrong foot. But Avi says, are you going to be streaming during season, like Tuesday or Wednesday, not on game days? On Thursday, we do a live stream. I give you start sits for that game. We make some predictions on Thursday. I will do that, but I'm going to be trying to incorporate a couple more live streams as well during the week. I think on Saturday morning we might be able to do one. And yeah, all of the running backs come off the board. Drake London's still here though. And London very often goes with Puka Nakua. The double week 11 bye is tricky like that, but the Puka drafter feels better. They have Achane as a Christian McCaffrey drafter with London. I feel also fine. Yeah, I have no regrets on this. If I had started Puka, Drake London, this team would feel a lot worse. It feels better, honestly, with Christian McCaffrey and Drake London. But yeah, I'm not going to say I go live every day, Avi, but I'm going to try to go live a little bit more during the regular season. But WFN Warehouse, Diggs didn't play a lot of snaps coming back from injury. That is also... He did start a little slow, but he looked fairly sharp all season. He didn't miss really any week, so I hope he's better, but with age, it's always like, how long will he hold up? The Patriots moving off of him after 1 year was probably a very smart call. I am back on the clock, though. The ADP says Devontae Smith. We would get the bring back with CMC. I don't take Devontae like crazy, but I think it's fine mixing in, and then it opens up the Jalen Hurts selection, which then would open up a Dallas Goedert selection, which I love. So we'll just do that. I'll go CMC, Drake London, Devontae Smith. Feels like a solid start. Solid. But Danimal was looking yesterday. You have 25% Evans. Damn. Okay. That's a lot. That's based on the Ricky Pearsall situation. That's great. For me, I'm not massively overweight Mike Evans right now because I took so much of him in the pre-draft when he was like in the 60s. When Mike Evans was a 6th-round pick, I took him so much in the pre-draft, and then I kind of just assumed that he would get more expensive. And now he is, but I kind of didn't really like take him very much at the 4-5 turn. I was usually going a different direction at the 4-5 turn a lot of the time. But I have a decent amount of Mike Evans teams. I'm a little bit worried that he gets hurt, but I have a decent amount. But disbanded We will smoke later. I'll smoke later, but not right now. It's not even 1 o'clock yet. So at least 4:20 on the East Coast. At least give me 25 minutes. But earlier in the day, I'm not going to smoke the same amount as nighttime drafts. But obviously, Diggs was nasty on the Bills, but that's also because he got 17 targets a game. Yeah, they had no one else. That first year with Josh Allen was crazy. And then it just kind of slowly soured over time. But Sam Watts, 5.6% Brazzle. That's a bummer, but it's not the end of the world. It's not totally crushing you, but it's not good. Ideally, you have what I had, only 1% or less. But Harmon, hello. How we doing? I did a fantasy draft, and I got the best trio of receivers. Drake London, JSN, and George Pickens. Not bad. That's pretty sweet. But my running backs are Chase Brown and Jadarian Price. Who should I trade for? If you can somehow trade for Omarion Hampton, get your hands on Omarion Hampton. That's who you want. That is who you want this year. But Fantasy Fitness IO is in here at pick 5. Good to see you, JMF Athletic. Pleasure to see you. I checked out your YouTube channel. You go live as well. Shout out the Fantasy Fitness IO. I don't think I mentioned anyone in this lobby now that I think about it. Shamrock is in here at pick 1. Beagle Ears at pick 2. Danimal at pick 3. MCH23 is at pick 5. Fantasy Fitness IO at pick 6. I think you're pick 6. Or, oh no, I'll take your word for it. You're at pick 5. You're right next to me. Okay, I thought you were pick 6. Pick 5. You go Puka, HN, and Olave. I will say you're welcome for giving you Puka. But then Burgess, Austin's in at pick 7. Dented Harvey at pick 8. Niners fan Chad has pick 9. The TJ at pick 10. Super Beast Keith has pick 11. And Sladen has pick 12. Good luck, everyone. But Fantasy Fitness is on the clock here at pick 5. Where will he go? Where will he go? He goes Waddle. And speaking of the man, we're going to take Mike Evans. I saw Evans go in the 3rd round yesterday. I saw him go at 26. Somebody reached on Evans from the 102 in the 3rd round, or they took Neighbors right here. Somebody took Evans. I got him at 45. That's where he normally goes, though. But he feels like a stronger pick right now because of the Ricky Pearsall situation. Just like Christian McCaffrey, maybe more targets in store for all of the Niners. But Diggs also coming off a torn ACL on a new team. In July, the beats were saying he might start on PUP. That is a factor. Maybe to give him the benefit of the doubt. Kind of impressive when you really factor that in. But I still think his quarterback situation will get worse wherever he goes. I still think that's a factor. And I don't know if I trust David Blau as much as some of y'all do. Some of y'all make it sound like the Commanders got an upgrade at offensive coordinator. I couldn't see that be far from the truth. It's baffling to me that we trust David Blau more than Cliff Kingsbury all of a sudden. But getting back in at running back might be the play. I don't take Baishal Tutin too often, but I'm willing to mix it in. Like I said, for the sake of exposure, I'll do it. He had 5 touchdowns last year, expecting a breakout. I take a lot of Chris Rodriguez, but today we'll get a little bit slappy. We'll go Baishal Tutin, and I just trust the Jags backfield. I trust that. But I like that team. Who's your quarterback? Word before Thursday Night Football. Yeah, as tradition, I'll go live on Thursdays, and we'll help set your lineup and go a little bit deeper on some of the stats going into that Thursday night game for fantasy purposes. That always happens. I'm not totally sure yet on what the live schedule will be. We'll kind of figure that out in the moment. But I would like to do it a little bit more often this season. What's up, Mr. Bufasa? Nice to see you. Welcome. Harmon saying no Bijan. I mean, I can't take him at 4 when he's off the board at 2. But also, is London worth it this year? I think so. The problem with London is that he's actually been a little bit fragile. Last year, the injured games were really a bummer. But when he was healthy, the volume was just so locked in. It's not going anywhere. I don't think Zachariah Branch is a problem. I trust Drake London a lot in terms of target share. I don't trust his quarterback very much, but he's never really had a good quarterback, and it hasn't really stopped him. I think he'll put up top 10 numbers guaranteed if he stays healthy. I think on a points per game basis, he will finish top 10. And there are some weeks where he just totally dominates. So I think it's totally worth it. But if you told me you preferred Nico Collins, George Pickens, I think I would push back on it. However, I think there's an argument that Rashee Rice could be better than him. He was last year in points per game. And even Malik Neighbors. If Neighbors is fully healthy, I could see that as well. I could see Chris Olave outscore him. I think there's a few names that could outscore him, but I think in terms of floor, he's pretty locked in. I think he'll be fine with what he offers. But similar to my Chow Chow team last night, we see the Allen drafter also draft quarterback in round 6 as well. I took Allen and Drake May last night in the Chow Chow. This team had Chase Brown and T. Higgins. It made a little bit more sense to go Joe Burrow there. It can work. If anything, Chad will have the best quarterback room in the lobby. But we'll see what MCH does here. Jadarian Price is the top ADP. Jadarian Price would be such a good pick, but I want Tyler Warren. He's going to time out. I think he might just stick with Price. I have no idea. He goes Warren. Interesting. I am definitely Tyler Warren over Jadarian. And while maybe the ADP says take Jalen Hurts, in this lobby, the team with McBride and Loveland, Danimal, already exists. So the more elite tight end, the more valuable. And this is already a falling price. At 69, I'll take Tyler Warren for sure. The quarterbacks I think are worth 6th-round picks are already off the board. So it's less of a choice. I like Tyler Warren quite a bit. But Avi Hoffman says Josh Allen in round 4 is so nasty. Like, quarterback is deeper than ever, but it's still Allen. I know. I've come around... Excuse me. I've come around to thinking once we hit the 4th round, if you get Allen past pick 40, it is such a good pick. It is so worth it. But Shamrock does take Jalen Hurts, stacks him with Mekhi Lemon. So it is what it is. And this round is very disappointing. This round sucks. So I'm just going to take Justin Herbert. I'm just going to do that. Always like that as an option. I could have maybe pulled up a running back, but I didn't feel the desperation, honestly, to do that. Approximately where do you select Neighbors? I think once Rashee Rice is off the board, yeah, I think where Beagle Ears took him is, I think, correct. Anywhere in the 3rd, basically. Anywhere in the 3rd. 2nd round, I'm not going to do it, but anywhere in the 3rd. What's up, Bukowski? Afternoon. Who Hames did not like the Kingsbury situation, so maybe that factors in. Yeah, I think you can push back on it. That first year where they converted all those 4th downs, that had something to do with Jaden Daniels and him together. I think their insane conversion rate on 4th down was so wild, but some of it was just Jaden Daniels scrambling. I will give it to him on that, but like, I don't know. I just don't trust their offense that much. They also lost their center, Tyler Biotish, who was ranked 11th by PFF last year. He went to the Chargers. I don't trust their replacement for him at all, so I have some bad concerns on the Commanders, but if Jaden Daniels is healthy and Diggs is there, it's still a very good quarterback. It's not as good as Drake May, in my opinion, but it's still very good. It's as close as you can get without like losing a major tier break. What's up, Caden? How we doing? But good afternoon, Jamie. Bon après-midi to you as well. Welcome, everyone. Avi says, Drake London is an elite player, but he's a little injury prone and Falcons quarterbacks are sus. I got to wait till round 3 at least to take him. I think that's a fair stance to take. I don't think it's terrible. I do think the difference between Late round 2 and early round 3 is pretty negligible. Like, ideally, we got Neighbors there, but now that he's off the board, maybe it's more of a discussion. We used to take Neighbors above him. I do want AJ Brown over Drake London. I'll say that, but I think from like just a guaranteed floor standpoint, I do trust him. I think he's worth it, but I can understand having him just a few picks past where I took him here. Like if you told me he was your 24th, 25th, 26th overall player, I don't think that's crazy, but I think having him at 21 where I just took him is also pretty valid. But interesting. Michael Wilson goes. That's kind of interesting, but still at work, but you're not. Time for a rip. No, I said I'd wait until at least 4:20 on the East Coast. I'm holding off. I'm being a little bit patient with our pipe rips today. But Caden asks, how do you feel about Carnell Tate? I think he's a pretty good pick in the 5th round. I think the volume is pretty safe to trust. I believe that Brian Dable wants to send a lot of volume to his top targets. So I would trust him. I would take him. Wow. Chuba at 93? I can't believe it. I'm actually happy to take Chuba Hubbard it's about fucking time. I've been waiting to take Chuba at this price. Holy shit, 93? Finally. This is so much better. Brooks is still on the board, but like this is what it should be. Late 8th round, Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks, the next player off the board at the position. Hell yeah. This is what it should have always been. Chuba Hubbard in the 90s. Brooks off the board by 100. That feels like a much more legit conversation. And you could still convince me that Brooks is more valuable, but given I don't have much Chuba, I have a lot more Brooks, I'm just going to take Chuba there. Back on the clock, receiver getting a little thin. I think I might just take Xavier Worthy. I could go Brock Purdy, though. The stack makes a lot of sense. I have CMC and Mike Evans. I also have the bring back with Devontae Smith. That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go Brock Purdy. There's back stacks with Herbert, so I can always figure that out. I could have got the bring back, though, with Xavier Worthy against the Chargers. That might have been a good play, but I feel pretty satisfied with the choice I just made. I had Evans and Christian McCaffrey at pick 4. I think we're committed to the Niners. Brock Purdy is a very good pick right here. Hoffman says, Tate looks great in camp so far. I believe it. I think he was definitely the top receiver in this year's class, but it was kind of just a weak class overall. So even though he got drafted 4th in the NFL draft, I think he was like him versus Tet McMillan. I'm not quite sure who's the better option. You know, I might actually prefer Tet McMillan, who went 8th overall last year. So I think it was dependent on the class and the strength of the overall position this year. I think Carnell Tate, though, will get a lot of volume. I'm worried about touchdowns, but I think we could easily see 150 targets, if not more, for Carnell Tate. That's the way that Brian Dable kind of operates. Like, even Wandale had 140 targets the last 2 seasons, while Neighbors had 170 his rookie year. Like, 170 for Neighbors, 140 for Wandale. If it's something close to that in Tennessee this year between Carnell Tate and Wandale, it wouldn't be that shocking. Not at all. But Mr. Mufasa says, Chuba falling that far is blasphemous. Great value. I don't know if it's blasphemous. I think it's appropriate. I think this is where he should have always gone. But yeah, great value. I'm actually happy to draft Chuba today. Actually happy. But Rob Mahoney says, will Chuba be on the roster by week 9? Yes, they pay him too much to cut him. Bros that lose their coach's confidence don't usually last. He will get benched before he gets cut. He will be on the roster. I think to ask if he's on the roster is kind of disrespectful. But yeah, Chuba is the key to realizing the opposite of CLV. At least I'm getting the best price I've ever seen on Chuba. I never take him. I've taken him at like 84, 83 once, 86 I think once. But I have very low commitment to Chuba. At 93, I'm willing to do it. Just to have him one time, but who knows if I'll ever see this again. Who knows if he'll still be there. But we're going to push Ricky Pearsall. We're going to see how far he goes. I imagine this draft has a lot of sharp drafters in it, and they know the news on Ricky Pearsall. Kittle goes. I would have liked George Kittle, not going to lie. But I was hopeful for Wandale. He's not there, though. But Golden still is. And I drafted a few shares of Romeo Dobbs recently. I'll go Matthew Golden past ADP. At 117, I like that a lot. I draft a lot of Matthew Golden. So I'll take him again. I think he's a good value. Kelsey goes instantly. I kind of wanted to get Kelsey on the bring back, but not going to happen on this one. I already have Tyler Warren, so it's probably fine. I don't think I need Kelsey with Warren. If anything, I kind of want someone with higher upside. Kelsey will be a little bit more average most weeks. He might just crush, though, against the Chargers, week 17. He might do that. Yeah, I think the injury was a little bit more of a red flag than just confidence. Pearsall's still here, but... Oh, no, I don't have Jalen Hurts on this one. That's right. I'm just going to take Dalton Kincaid. I've been starting to hammer Dalton Kincaid in round 11. I think he's such a good pick. Such high upside. I think he might actually put up more stats than DJ Moore. If he stays fully healthy, Dalton Kincaid is the piece you want. No doubt about it. Stacked up with Josh Allen. So not going to let Chad get him. He missed out on DJ Moore by one pick. He's not getting Kincaid in this one. But when he came back, they gave Rico the starting job. I guess we're pretending last year didn't happen. Rob, maybe... I don't know if I've recognized you in the chat for a minute, so maybe you haven't been watching the channel all summer, but I've been on Jonathan Brooks all summer. I always tell people Chuba's a bad pick in the 7th. In the late 8th, 2 picks away from Jonathan Brooks, even if Brooks does win the job, he can also still just go down with injury. And in that scenario, I don't want to have 0 shares of Chuba Hubbard. I believe that Chuba Hubbard will lose his job this year. I think you want Brooks more. But I think for the price today, I was willing to go Chuba just because it was such a discount. However, I do think they still felt a little allegiance to Chuba Hubbard last season once he did return from injury. Because Rico played so well, there was every excuse to cut ship on Chuba Hubbard. And they still let him back into the team. It was more of a committee. I wouldn't say they lost full confidence in Chuba Hubbard last season. Yes, he got hurt and Rico looked way better and had to take more of the reps, but they never completely abandoned Chuba Hubbard. And I think that's why some people still believe in him. But Brooks is still so injury prone. That contingent value on Chuba, I think, is why he's still worth taking here at pick 93. That paired with the, 14 pick fall, I think all of that factored in to why I took him. But I can also still understand believing that Brooks is a better pick. In general, I have a lot more invested in Brooks myself. We'll see what happens, but if Goddard makes it back, I will take Dallas Goedert. He's top ADP, though. I doubt it. Took Love, then accidentally took 4 running backs for the Week 10 bye, says Wilson. The Week 10 bye has some good teams on it. The Bucks, the Bears, the Broncos, and the Eagles. It's kind of easy to load up unintentionally, but I could go Keaton Mitchell on this team. I never take Keaton Mitchell. Yikes. Is that really what I want to do? I'm not dying to do it. Fuck. I took Daniel Jones. I have Tyler Warren, but legitimately, I kind of froze for a sec, and I almost pulled someone up, and next thing I knew, I ran out of time. That was a bummer. I should have probably just taken Keaton Mitchell. But I do have Tyler Warren, so the stack with Daniel Jones, the 3 quarterback build isn't bad. I have 2 good tight ends. I'm going to be fine, actually, but I don't know if I intended to do that. I definitely didn't intend to do that. Okay. I have Brock Purdy on this team, though. There's a pick I'm about to make. I'm going to reach on someone. We'll see who it is, but I'm totally intending to reach on someone here. We're afraid of a calf over a twice ripped knee. I think Brooks is fine, but to think Chuba will ever not be in rotation is ridiculous. I think you can be confident enough to believe that Brooks just stays healthy, but the, percentage chances of how healthy Brooks is to completely write off Chuba entirely is a little bit naive. But I'm going to go Debo here. I would much rather reach on Debo than Stribling, with the belief that he will be a Niner. We brought this up on the channel last night. In the poll, I think it's pretty clear if Ricky Pearsall's injury is that serious, they will just bring up Debo Samuel. Stribling went 133, but I'd rather just take Debo, because even if he signs somewhere else, I know what I'm getting with Debo, and I think he totally pays off this price. So fuck Debo's ADP in the 160s. If you want him, just take him. If anything, you probably should take him ahead of Ricky Pearsall. Maybe just do that. But JT Alford says, what's up? Nice to see you, bro. But keep drafting Chuba. Leaves Brooks for me. Makes me happy. If that's the side you want to play it, I also respect it. Up until this point, I've been that side for sure. But Chuba at 93, I'll finally get in. Rico ripped off 2 30-point games, and again, Chuba still got worked back in. That was kind of what I mentioned. So the chat is probably going to go back and forth on this. But yeah, both sides of the argument, I think, are valid. It's worth taking a lot of Brooks because he's cheaper. But if they're going to go back-to-back, I think I might take more Chuba. In all honesty, it feels like a fair, just like flip of a coin. One or the other bet. And then Chuba's been more healthy historically. So I get that side of the argument. But when he was going in the 6th, 7th rounds, I'm not interested at all. But here, I'll just take Chuba. I'd rather bet on upside. In general, that's usually worth your time. I will say, I've been all in on Diggs. I'm not taking Chuba, but now I'm just pivoting all of those Diggs shares to just Debo. I think Dibbs and Debo should go back-to-back. So, Debo at 148, I think, is the play. But yeah, in general, we're just here to watch. We have the money invested, I guess, but in general, we don't really have any say. Panthers backfield is going to be all over the place, in my opinion, says Avi. Yeah, I think even Trevor Etienne will get some touches, but George says do a $1 draft after this. I think I'm going to stick to the $3 ones. I feel a little bit better about the $3 drafts. The contest is smaller, and it's almost full. But I'm going to go Zach Charbonnet. I've talked myself off of Jadarian Price, and I've started to believe that Zach Charbonnet might actually just be much healthier than people think. If I told you last year to take Christian Watson, you would tell me I'm crazy. You would tell me I'm insane. I'm going to go Charbonnet. We get the bring back against the Panthers. I think he'll be on the field at the end of the season. So I'm willing to take him. The receiver room has London, Devontae Smith, Mike Evans, Golden, and Debo. Tight end, I'll hit the flex a little bit with Tyler Warren and Kincaid. Running back feels decently solid with Christian McCaffrey, Bishal Tootin, Chuba Hubbard, and Zach Charbonnet. A different team, not one I usually draft. This Daniel Jones pick might have been a really big mistake, though. At least it's stacked, but honestly, the Justin Herbert pick also feels a little bit odd right now. In general, I never regret it, but I have so much. On this team, it may not have been the best choice. Like, if I just took even just Quentin Johnston right there, I think I might like this team a little bit better. I think the Herbert pick actually might be not my best choice, but I think it was really just Daniel Jones. I should have probably taken, like, Gadsden or someone. Missing out on Trey Harris is not ideal. Would have been better stacked. Here, though, we're going to make this Daniel Jones pick look better and also give us an out. Maybe Keenan does go to the Chargers. After all, we might actually still get stuck with that. And maybe I just get the stack with Keenan, but I'll take him 172. I really do not care. At this point, I'm just getting my guys. But Chuba was very ineffective. I think as long as Brooks is healthy, he will win the job. But I don't think Chuba will just disappear entirely. I think we're going to stick with the $3 Schnauzer, George. I think so. It's almost full, so I think that's the play. But Rob is Canadian. He loves Chuba. It's not personal, but for the spot in drafts, I prefer upside Brooks, maybe something special. We know what Chuba is. Yeah, the mystery box of Brooks is totally worth it. But if you get a big fall on Chuba, why not? Every once in a while. I feel like I've said that a lot, so I'm going to move off of this topic. I think the Brooks Chuba talk, I think I've said enough on it. I've also spoken on it many times over the summer, but I have not updated my Underdog app. I heard it's not great. I haven't seen for myself. I mostly just draft on the computer, so I don't usually spend much time on the app for those drafts. But Mitchell is a must cuff if you own Hampton this season, no doubt about it. I kind of disagree. I think you might be writing off Kimani Vidal a little bit extra. I think Keaton Mitchell's fine, but I don't know if he has to be handcuffed. I think if anything, if you draft Hampton, you're betting against Keaton Mitchell. So I get the argument on Keaton Mitchell. I'm not as sold as some people. I think the price is the reason why. If he was like 2 rounds cheaper, I think I'd be in, but I think he goes too early. I think he's been slapped up a little bit. Too much up the board for what he actually gives you. Not much passing volume. Some elite explosiveness, but not much volume on his career to know exactly if that'll all of a sudden hit just because Hampton goes down. I still think it's more of a committee between him and Vidal. But you like Rico over Devontae Smith? Oh, Rice over Devontae Smith. Yes, I do like Rashi Rice over Devontae Smith. I do. But what time is it? It's almost time for our next pick. But I imagine this was 2 minutes ago. East Coast 420. I'm a little bit late. I was not paying attention. But I'll make this pick and then I'll do it. I'll pack the bowl after this. I'm going to go K-Tron on this one. I think K-Tron has a pretty solid path to have some like weekly production. And with Charbonnet, I don't think I can just bet on just like any random handcuff. Like, as much as I would like to go in a specific direction with like a Kalen Black here, I'm not going to do it just because if CMC doesn't get hurt, then like I get nothing out of Kalen Black. I'm waiting for Charbonnet to give me something, so I think having a more useful running back that could just steal the job and have good value. K-Tron is one of the guys I like a lot here. So I think on this team it fits. I think on this team it makes sense. But this team is interesting. We'll recap it in just a sec, but I think these last 2 picks need to be receivers. I think the 3-5-8-2 is the build. And I already have Keenan Allen on the team, so where do I go from here? Torrey Horton goes. I like Torrey Horton. Wicks is not bad. Pat Bryant's been moving up the board, I see. Surratt is an option. But I'm actually going to go with the bring back option. I'm going to go with Tyquan Thornton against Justin Herbert that final week. Sure, why not? I trust I'll get a few spikes out of Tyquan Thornton. Had some good chemistry with Mahomes last year. And he's replacing Hollywood Brown as wide receiver 3. He will get more volume this season. But, yeah, that's kind of what the chat turns into sometimes. But Welcome, Rob. We do this all year. Yeah, it's been. You're kind of late to the party, Rob. Yeah, no, the DGen is a compliment in these streets. The underdog DGen is a bit different, but any updates on ADP risers and fallers? We could take a look on that, but I think for the sake of today's live stream, I'm just gonna stick to drafting. We gave you some news updates. Maybe tomorrow we take a look at that. But if I had to guess, I would say it looks like Stribling will be rising very quickly. Debo as well. I believe in Keenan, so he should be rising. When I have Daniel Jones, I'm just going to take Keenan a little extra high. But Pacheco getting the Hubbard treatment. Yeah, it's about time that Pacheco's moved down the board. It's been a little bit weird to take him up that high all the time. But wide receiver been picked wildly clean already. Yeah, this draft, I didn't fuck around. I took Keenan at 172. I took Debo 148. You took Stribling Sladen at 133, so you had your hand in the cookie jar as well. Receiver was stripped pretty quickly. There are some gems super late at receiver, but it's just because people kind of fuck around and let them stay on the board. Even Kayshon Boutte went 190. Yeah. Torrey Horton 195. Danimal didn't give a fuck. But we did one last night, Pepper Tony. If you want to watch it, you can go check the replay. That one was an interesting one. I did timestamp it in yesterday's video. If you want to go back and watch that $50 Chow Chow, you can check it out. But today, I'm not doing a second one. I will preserve the budget. We're staying in the $3 lobby. But I have one more pick, and then we'll take a look at a few team reviews, then move on. But so far, I like this team a lot. That third quarterback, possibly a luxury pick, but honestly, it helps the team advance. It just comes in handy when you need it. It's totally fine. Interesting. Jaden Blue is still here. Kind of want to take Jaden Blue a little bit, but I think for the team, Jaden Blue wouldn't be terrible, actually. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Jaden Blue. I'll do it. True upside, I think, is worth it. I'm fine with it. Chad took Kalen Black, so he wasn't on the board. But Jaden Blue at 213, I think, is a valid click. Mr. Mufasa, we are not doing a Chow Chow. That I never said I would do that today. But Burgess took 2 round 20 receivers before he even took Tolbert. Burgess does whatever he wants. I respect it. Conman wasn't happy with some of the decisions made. See, money, we haven't smoked yet. I haven't smoked yet. Yeah, Mr. Mufasa fell asleep last night. We were late. We were up pretty late. But take a flyer on Mike Washington, never know. I don't mind it, but I'm willing to go Jaden Blue. I think Javonte Williams is far more likely to get injured than Ashton Genty is. But Pepperoni is always stoned, apparently. All right, let's recap my team. The 3-6-7-2 feels pretty good, not going to lie. We have Herbert unstacked, but I don't care. Brock Purdy with Christian McCaffrey and Mike Evans, and I believe Debo Samuel. Daniel Jones with Tyler Warren, and I also believe Keenan Allen. But maybe Keenan goes to Justin Herbert. Maybe Debo goes to Daniel Jones. Christian McCaffrey, though, is stacked with Purdy. Baishal Tootin, we don't take him that often, but I think it's worth mixing in every now and then. He doesn't fall past pick 5, round 5, so might as well take him every now and then. But Chuba Hubbard in the late 8th round at 93 overall, I'm here for it. Zach Charbonnet will factor in down the stretch. Can we sneak a Zach Charbonnet team all the way through to the end? If we can get Charbonnet in the playoffs, I think that's a big advantage. I think that'd be pretty nice to have him in the final. But Katron Allen's going to help get me there. I think he steals the goal line looks in Washington, and then Jaden Blue might just be the guy you need in Dallas if Javonte gets hurt. But yo, Game Tight becomes a member of the Blunt Rotation. Appreciate that, Game Tight. Thank you very much. Actually, no, he was already a member. He gifts a membership to C Money. Let's go. Thank you very much, Game Tight. Appreciate that. Let me know, C Money. Are you in this draft? Are you in this draft with us? Do you get a team review? Or is it happening next time? Let me know. But Cloudy Head, I saw this. I don't think it'll happen, but I did see that week 1 is still possible. I highly doubt it. I wouldn't project it, but it makes me more confident that he might be on the field by like week 7, week 8. And that's kind of all I need to draft Zach Charbonnet. Like, I think he's by far the best running back that they have. And I don't think they would have moved off of Ken Walker if not for the trust factor there. So I like him a lot. It's a contract season. I trust Zach Charbonnet, and I think once he's healthy, he will be valuable. So I want teams with him. I took him on this one, and I don't mind it. London on this one, we're betting a lot on him, though. Devontae Smith hopefully pays off. We get the bring back with Evans and the Niners, though. That one should be nice. As long as he's healthy, that's a pretty good pick. Matthew Golden at a nice fall. I was grateful to get it. But then I reached on Debo at 148. I don't give a shit at all. I also reached on Keenan 172. Again, I don't give a fuck. Both of those are $1 picks if this was an auction draft. At that stage, the ADP is worthless. I think they will cover that price. When they do sign, they will be definitely drafted higher than that. But Tyquan Thornton for the Mahomes, Herbert bring back. We don't have Mahomes, but we get that matchup. It's something. I do think he factors in a little bit. I might have needed an 8th receiver, though. I think trusting London, Devontae, and Evans probably goes down, so it could be tricky, but I think I like the veteran investment enough. But if you told me I tacked on like Elijah Surratt, which I almost did, I might actually prefer this team a little bit more because Jaden Blue feels like more of a luxury. Surratt actually feels like he would have helped me quite a bit. Tyler Warren and Kincaid, though, is a phenomenal duo of tight ends. This feels excellent. So it's really just like, did I need receiver 8? And I'm glad I have quarterback 3, honestly. I don't mind it at all, but I think one of these 3 running backs might have been the wrong pick, actually. I think it was probably Jaden Blue. Probably, but he fell. It probably wasn't worth it, though. We'll see. It's not the end of the world. It's round 18. And Surratt might have done nothing anyways. So who knows? Who cares? Round 18. We'll find out. But all right, let me do some team reviews. C Money is not in this draft. No worries. But Danimal is. We got Austin in here and Chad and Super Beast and Slayton. We got 5 team reviews. Let's do them quickly. Let's take a look at Danimal, who had Mahomes, Darnold, and Rodgers. Montgomery, Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, Algier, and James Conner. That's fine. I kind of like that. It's decent. It's mostly floor plays, but it's decent. Jamar Chase, Pickens, Pittman, Diggs, Omar Cooper, Kayshon Boutte, Torrey Horton. Yeah, the depth kind of falls off. I don't hate it, but it feels a little bit thin towards the bottom. But you have Chase and Pickens, so that's great. You can get away with it because I love Pittman, and his volume is so safe to bet on. Team's not bad. But McBride and Loveland and Kelsey, maybe a little bit too much spent at tight end. Yeah, I think I might like this team a little bit better if you just took a receiver instead of McBride. McBride at 27, I think, is too early. I think you have to take him after ADP. He's also been falling to the late 30s, so I don't like the McBride pick on this one, especially with Loveland and Kelsey. You can just take McBride off entirely, make him a receiver, and this team is fire. You know, like if we make McBride, Chris Olave, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, any of those guys, I think this team is a little bit more interesting. I think you spent a little too much at tight end. But Danimal always gets a little risky. I respect it. Always fun to look at his builds. It's always unique. Burgess has Daniels, Jordan Love, and Malik Willis. That's pretty decent. Kyron, Bucky, Jordan Mason, and Kamara. I don't trust Kamara enough like that to only have 4 with him, but you could maybe get away with the top 3. I think Kamara does get hurt, though, so good luck with that. The build, though, should be strong elsewhere with Amon-Ra, Terry, Michael Wilson, Jalen McMillan, Flournoy, Tankdale, Ted Hurst, Tolbert, and Skylar Bell. Honestly, I think it could look a little better, but Amon-Ra and Terry holding it down are pretty strong. Bowers and Kraft, you do this almost every time. Yeah, I think make it a 3-5-8-2. I like this team more. Give me one more running back. I think you push it just a little bit too much. Either an earlier running back than Kamara or just one more. For my liking, I would change it up with just one more running back. But that's me. The team is pretty solid, though. Like, tight end is always amazing. Quarterback is good. And then running back could work. But receiver has some names I just don't feel as confidently about as you do. But overall, it's still pretty good. It checks out, actually. But Chad took Allen and Joe Burrow, elite double quarterback. I've seen that before. Ashton Genty, Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, and Kenny Gainwell. Tank Bigsby. I've seen that before. T. Higgins, Christian Watson, Josh Downs, Jacoby Myers, Khalil Shakir, Ricky Pearsall at 136, and Jerry Jeudy, Brenton Strange, Gunnar Helm, and Pat Fryermuth. I like this team a lot, man. This reminds me of my Chow Chow last night. Very similar. Literally the exact same running back room. I took Allen and Drake May, but the same 4th round, 6th round capital. And then tight end. I think mine looked a little bit different, but not by much. You did just take Ricky Pearsall, though. I was a coward. I didn't do it. But, yeah, this room was wild. This room was interesting. We got a couple more to do. We'll take a look at Super Beast, then Sladen. We got Dak Prescott, Tyler Shuck, and Shedeur Sanders. Like I said, I'm willing to mix in Shedeur, actually, on a few teams now. But Hampton, Javante, Cam Scatterbo, Dobbins, and Pacheco, that checks out. Pacheco at 182 feels much better. Lamb, Romadunze, Tyson, Sutton, Coker, Denzel Boston, and Zachariah Branch. Not bad, actually. I kind of like this a lot. Very balanced. Pretty good options. The Coker bet feels so much better right now. And then I don't mind Boston or Branch. They're not my favorite clicks, but I don't mind them. And knowing how this room played out, receiver got kind of gutted pretty quickly. But Jake Ferguson, Juwan Johnson, Theo Johnson, that works. That's pretty decent. I don't mind that at all. I like the Theo Johnson click just to mix it up. It feels valid for sure. Solid team. Quarterback is decent. I wouldn't say it's elite. It's pretty decent. But with the Javante, CeeDee Lamb stack, this Dak Prescott team looks pretty good. And then the Tyson, Juwan Johnson double with Tyler Shuck, also valid. So good team. Honestly, very balanced team. I got no issue with it. It feels pretty solid. Other than like Boston and Branch, there's like really nothing I can complain about. And that's just who I like at the position. That could just be wrong as well. So good team. Very, very competitive. Lastly, Sladen's in this one as well. He has Baker, Cam Ward, Geno. That's okay. I wouldn't say that's amazing, but that's okay. James Cook, Ken Walker, Blake Corum, RJ Harvey, and Dylan Sampson. Pretty chill. Very high upside. The double anchor, and then these two guys have a lot of upside. Sampson's also just a legit handcuff as well. Ted McMillan, Ladd McConkey, Parker Washington, Carnell Tate, Dejon Stribling at 133, Trey Tucker, Dontavian Wicks, and Elik Ayamonor paired up with Kyle Pitts and Kenyon Sadiq. The Sadiq pick I don't like. I do not like that. Ayamonor I don't like. A little early on Stribling, but this is just his new cost now, so totally fine. You pulled up Parker Washington over Carnell Tate. I would have gone in the other direction. I would have gone with Tate first, but you got both, so who cares? And then quarterback has no stacks, actually, other than Carnell Tate. The Carnell Tate stack, I think, is a little bit tough. Week 17, I don't love his matchup. Carnell Tate goes against Joey Porter Jr. of the Steelers, and although he's not a household name yet, he's actually very, very good. He had insane numbers locking down his competition last year. So I actually worry about that stack individually. I think that's this team could be better with better stacks. That's the only complaint. Otherwise, it feels competitive. I don't love Sadiq, though, like I said, or Yamanor. Those two picks feel a little bit odd. Not going to lie. The Geno pick also, very strange. I hate taking Geno. And he's also unstacked. Oh, no, he has Sadiq. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Okay, I think that's going to be it for the team reviews. If I miss someone, please let me know, and we'll get to it. But we will draft a new one. I'm not sure how many entries are still left in this contest, but it's filling very quickly. We're going to scroll over to the mini Schnauzer. It's already up to 94%. Yeah, if anything, I should probably multi-table this. I'll enter right now, and then we'll keep our eye on it. I'll give you a little countdown. We're hopping in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. But see, Money, they cook my slow drafts on mobile with some updates. It's terrible. Yeah, I have no desire to do any slow drafts if this update is indeed dog shit, like people say. But I get pick 6. That's fine. We might go CMC again, but that's fine. What's up, Al Boogie? Nice to see you, GM. Appreciate you for popping in. C Money says, I may be done with slows after this batch, RIP. I think that's the way to go. I think in general, the slows are really, really disappointing. They're not that fun. But they're still drafts, ultimately. They're still best ball drafts. But the unsigned veterans are a cheat code this year. I fully agree, Cloudy. At this point, I'm just getting them where I want them. But Price is him. One thing I disagree with Blunt, they took him round 1 for a reason. He's a stud. I think they took him round 1 because the board forced their hand. Nobody else wanted to trade up with them, and they didn't have another pick until the end of the second round. He wouldn't have been there. I don't think he was actually like the guy that they wanted to spend the 32nd pick overall on. I will push back. I think Price is a little bit overrated. And I think once Charbonnet is there, it'll still be a committee, but I don't think Price is going to be catching any passes. I think he's a little bit underwhelming from what some people think he has to offer. I think he will never be the true workhorse. Even if Sharves misses the entire season, I don't think he'll ever get the full workload. But Daniels is a good team. Hopefully. But my running back was interesting. Maybe it's a different one, but this is a APAC level donation, says Cloudy. Interesting. I'm on the clock, though. I'll take JSN today. Sure. With CMC off the board, I'll just take JSN. Rob says Seahawks generally can run the ball. I don't think Price has to be elite to be effective in fantasy. Might be a reverse rookie, more valuable early season than late season when Sharps comes back. I would agree. I think he's more valuable early on. I think in the Eliminator, he's more interesting, but still as a rookie, he might still start slow. And then I do think Sharps will definitely hold him back once that guy's healthy. Sharps is the play. But, yeah, not going to happen week 1, but there are some rumors he's not actually on PUP. That'd be crazy, though. That'd be such a good pick if it actually works out. If he's this year's Christian Watson, he has league-winning upside. But Daniel says, thanks, figured with light running back room, tight end stays in flex, Kelsey stack, YOLO. Yeah, the McBride pick is always kind of hard to make look good, in my opinion. But Dakota, fresh off of J, what we drafted, we're in the mini Schnauzer. Hopefully you got in. But let me know if you are. We got Nate Brewer in here. We got Fate Formula with some comments. We got Cloudy Head. Seems like the format rewards reaching. Honestly, once you get to pick to round 13, take whoever you want. Like, even though we kind of tell Burgess that his Jalen Tolbert clicks are insane, it's really not any different than just taking a $1 click in round 16. It's not that big of a deal. But you are fired from the Atomic Clock Counting team. They're not the most consistent countdowns, Pepper Tony. Some of them are faster than others. That's always been the case. But it's fun to get in volume and win money regarding the slows. Not always. Sometimes it's like If you have too many slows going, it's kind of hell, in my opinion. But even if Price is Kenneth Walker, they want a split there. Yeah, he's never getting the full volume. Never. But it looks like Achan's still here. I think we're just taking Achan. I think so. Give me the running back. But Fantasy Fitness is right next to me again, MCH23. On this second one, Fantasy Fitness, I'll give you a team review. Now I'm curious. We're drafting right next to each other for the second time in a row. That's commitment. I'll take a look when it's all said and done. But see you next time, Avi. Thanks for joining us today. But Cloudy says Sharp is the clearest league winner I've seen in a minute. He could just get hurt again, but if the reports come back well and he's just way healthier than we think, damn, he could be a great pick. I think you need a team that has a lot of running backs on it, though. I think you want 6 when you draft Zach Charbonnet, and ideally he's your 5th, but someone like Katron I think can be a good complement to him that goes later, because I think you actually get some weekly value out of Katron instead of just contingent value. But Sladen says Sharp just needs to be healthy enough to fall forward into the end zone and catch a pass and fall down immediately. It's an easier path. It's a good team to bet on. It's a pretty good team, but done 90% of your volume slow this year. Wow. That I would never do, Peppertoni. We're just different creatures, you and me. I should probably update my ranks because Travis I keep having at the top and he's been falling. Damn it. I'll take T. Higgins today. I always trust T. Higgins in the 3rd. When in doubt, just go T. Higgins. It's a good pick. But I have a little bit of smoke left in the chamber. We're going to fill this pipe after this rip, but I'm going to clear it, and then we'll also drop the music as well. Let's take a rip. Schweddy, been trying to catch you to ask this in full PPR, 12-man. I'm stuck between JT or Amon-Ra. I have the 5th pick passing on JSN with a healthy DJ. JT was a monster, but Amon-Ra also machine. I'm stuck. Okay, the question is stuck between Jonathan Taylor and Amon-Ra in full PPR. You're passing on JSN. I'm going Amon-Ra. Give me St. Brown. If Christian McCaffrey's still there, I think I'd rather have CMC over Jonathan Taylor in full PPR. If you're worried about the injury risk, you don't want to take him. That's kind of drafting scared, but I also understand it. If you're not taking JSN, give me Amon-Ra. I would go Amon-Ra for sure. Give me the receiver over the running back. But I understand the argument for Taylor. I think in full PPR, it's definitely Amon-Ra St. Brown, in my opinion. But the Cloudy Head, yeah, the Seahawks are a playoff team, no doubt. No doubt. They're one of the best teams in the NFC. Even without Clint Kubiak, they're still really good. All right. Fantasy Fitness, rocking a 0111. Not sure where he goes here. He took McBride. He goes Terry McLaurin. I've been warming up to Garrett Wilson lately, but I also feel very confident in Cam Scatabo. And based on the team build so far, I want Scatabo. Sorry, Danimal, you're not getting a neighbor's Scatabo team. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Danimal goes Loveland. So again, going with the double anchor tight end. The bully tight end strategy can be tough. We'll see how it goes. But Loveland is a good pick in the 4th. No doubt about it. Peppertoni can't get the volume down otherwise with how frothy people are filling contests in 2 hours. Yeah, that's valid. Honestly, I'm not even sure I'm going to get into this mini schnauzer when this lobby is done. When this draft is over, honestly, I could see the contest just be full. I feel like that's on the table, actually. But What's up, Sweet Leaf? Good afternoon, delight to you as well. 0.0001% slows. I respect it. I think I'm closer to like 0.1. I've done 3 of them this year, and I've drafted 500 teams, so that's less than 1%. That would be 0.6% of my drafts this season have been slow. But I think we did, Peppertone. I think it came in at the right time. But the first mistake is passing on JSN, says Cloudy. In full PPR, I'm not sure I would fully fade JSN the same way. Oh, wow. Luther Burden makes it back? At pick 54, I think I'm just going to do that. A 9-pick slide on Luther Burden. Why not? Very, very appropriate in terms of where he should be going. Feels way better than pick 44. All right, Luther Burden, round 5. It's about time. Young Moolah in the house. What's up, GAB for Life? If anyone hasn't checked out GAB for Life, GAB Sports runs a fun live stream on his channel as well. Drafts some good teams. But says, what's up, Blunt? I'm sure glad you all think it's that easy for a running back to come back. Super strong year 1 from an ACL tear in December. Good luck with that flawed thought process. Every team can afford a luxury pick, Young Moolah. If you don't want to risk any shares of Zach Charbonnet, go for it. But I think if I was in the eliminator, I would never consider Zach Charbonnet. When all the money is made week 17, I can get behind it, especially against the Panthers' run defense. The Panthers' secondary is tough, but their run defense is bad. That is a very good matchup. Charbonnet is a stud. He's always been slept on, so I might take him again today just to prove a point. But you'll never know the joy of getting Stribling at 190 in a draft that's been going on for 3 weeks. I guess I won't, Peppertony. It'll probably never happen ever again. But Shweddy, you're welcome. All right, I'm back on the clock here. Tyler Warren's still available. I've kind of talked myself into just going Warren above the onesies. I'm not going to get Joe Burrow to make it back probably, but there's a world where I get Caleb. Actually, no. If I want Caleb, I have to take him here. But I actually kind of don't want Caleb. I actually kind of don't. I'll go Tyler Warren first. Because just like the last lobby, Danimal's making it weird with the double anchor bully tight end strategy. So that makes being one of the teams with the elite option is that much more valuable. Tight end has weird prices this season, but if you're in a lobby where someone goes Bowers and Loveland, it makes your Tyler Warren pick even more valuable, in my opinion. I think so. But I think Vegas questions on if Seattle's a playoff team. I think you should hit the over in that scenario. I think I would bet them to be a playoff team for sure. I still trust their defense. Their coach is so good on defense. They don't need to win with like a shootout. I think they're still set to win like at least 11 games. But it might be mostly winning on defense. But Sharbs ain't going to do shit, says Young Moolah. I disagree. But if I recall, you weren't drafting Scatabo either. So we just have some risk tolerance differences, you and I. We'll see what happens. But you draft Isaiah Bond sometimes. Isaiah Bond ain't doing shit. You're willing to take him. I'm just pulling up Rico. These days. But, yeah. I agree with this, Who Hames. It's not necessary to max every single thing. Olave got his extension already. That was fast. If this is true, that was fast as fuck. Cloudy Head says, wow, the team is stacked. Is my team stacked just because I have Burden? It would have been better if Burrow or Caleb had fallen back to me. Burgess said no. Burgess, I know you love Joe Burrow. I'm shocked you took Caleb and Herbert unstacked instead of Joe Burrow unstacked. Very shocking to me, Burgess. I feel like you're just fucking with me. Legitimately, I feel like those 2 clicks were just to fuck with me. But, first down fantasy. Wow, Burden at 54. I guess they just want you to win. They don't want me to have Caleb, though, I'll tell you that. But Danimal wouldn't have let it happen. I'm sure Danimal would have taken Caleb instead of Chuba Hubbard. But stacking Caleb is not always totally necessary. We still have good options remaining. But Seahawks just run the ball so much, and the Lions' schedule is a cakewalk. Yeah, the Lions, I think, will have the 1 seed this year. If it's not the Rams, I think the Lions will have the 1 seed. But the Seahawks, I don't think will win the division. I think they're just a playoff team. And maybe they do miss, but I doubt it. I think at worst, they're the 7 seed. But Sweet Leaf says, yep, I did 1 slow. Well, it's still going now. They're not that fun, but looks like Olave, that extension is indeed correct. I never worried yesterday when I saw that news. That happened fast, and it's totally justified. He deserves it. All right, back on the clock here. Quarterback's actually been a little bit gutted. Not going to lie, it's gone a little bit earlier than anticipated, a little bit more coveted than expected. So Addison goes. I kind of want to take Addison and set up a Kyler Murray selection, but it's starting to get a little thin, honestly. What I'm going to do here is go Laporta. And although I have the double elite tight end in a lobby with Danimal, I'm going to mix it up. We're going to lean into the bully tight end strategy, and we're going to remove one of the other elites from the equation. And not only that, it gives me a stacking partner if I want it. We have an option in the next round. Now, maybe receiver was just the move there, just because it kind of feels like it's drying up quickly now. Now that Pearsall's no longer an option, I feel like more people are going to start getting their receivers in the 8th and maybe reach on him in the 7th. Like Godwin went 79. I totally respect that. I've done it as well. We'll see. But you must have liked the Tyler Warren pick. I believe that's what happened when Warren was chosen. But Sladen says, yeah, I've crashed out on Underdog more times my current mini than I did the rest of July. I might have to switch to desktop and draft a quarter of the teams I plan on rest of the way. I don't understand how y'all can draft so many teams on the phone. It's not that easy. I don't like the view. I want to see the full board. I want to see my team as well. I want to see other people's teams. I don't like drafting on the phone, honestly. But the reason I took Sam Laporta there was to set up Jared Goff right here. I'm a little worried I don't even get a single quarterback I like in the next round. So that was the whole point. We'll get the Laporta Jared Goff stack. And Goff, I think, is set to be a very, very locked-in top 10 play. Like we mentioned, that schedule is just so easy. And by moving off of David Montgomery, there's probably going to be more passing touchdowns in store for the Lions this year. They probably scored the same amount of touchdowns as last season, if not more. But I think the ratio on rushing touchdowns versus passing touchdowns will lean a little bit heavier in favor of Goff and the throwing. So I like Goff a lot. With Laporta, it's a better selection, no doubt. But still probably looks better with Rome or Tate. My team? Maybe my team, yeah. I am a little bit worried about my receiver room, not going to lie. But I have JSN, I have T. Higgins, and Luther Burden. So top heavy so far, but it's coming together. Yeah, I think at that point, given how I don't have a lot of Burden shares, I'm kind of just right at market. To just get him at a big fall anywhere in the 5th feels fine. But yeah, no, the Bond selections, Young Moolah, are a little bit questionable sometimes. But I can understand fading Charbonnet. I can also understand, if you don't believe that, is a good direction to go. But Austin says no. So I'm a math major, and I redid my rankings the last 2 days. My numbers have the top 4 quarterbacks being Josh, Drake, Herbert, and Jaden in no particular order. But they are 100% in the top 4 for me. Gotcha. I have Herbert over Jaden, but I do have Lamar still at number 2. Interesting that you faded Lamar that much, but my Goff pick looks so much better right now. But I'm actually just going to take Wan'Dale Robinson because he's on the thumbnail. I could go Jacoby, but he's on the thumbnail. Let's get with the vibes. Let's take Wan'Dale Robinson. He is on the thumbnail. But Lamar has dropped in your rankings. I think the injury risk is the only issue, but I still trust him over Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels was not that productive last year. Jaden got hurt a lot, missed a bunch of time, but in terms of points per game, he barely averaged like 17.5 points per game last year. I think it was less than that. I think it was actually like 16. Justin Herbert had more points per game than Jaden Daniels did last season. But when I see Baker and Goff going off the board 19-20, I don't know how any can pass. Usually top 10 fantasy quarterbacks when healthy. Yeah, Goff feels like an excellent pick. I will say Bo Nix feels like a very strong pick. Baker feels like a pretty good pick. Jordan Love, I'm not sold, is an amazing pick. Stafford, if not for the injury concern, should be a great pick. Kyler, I think, will be great to start the year and then probably fall off. Their defense, I think, keeps them in playoff contention, but Kyler, I think, starts off very well and then kind of falls off down the stretch like he has in the past. But Dart, if he stays healthy, is a higher ceiling pick. Purdy as well. But Jared Goff is a very safe, very, very good pick. You can't really go wrong, but I think he's better as your backup. Tyler Shuck is still here. I will just take him happily. With the Olave signing, it makes it feel even safer. But from a value standpoint, maybe Malik Willis is the better pick just because it's stacked with De'Von Achane, but I have Tyler Shuck in a much different tier than Tyler Shuck. So I'm very happy to get him in the 11th round at 126. Give me Tyler Shuck. Absolutely. But Austin says Caleb is just under that tier, so I felt like I needed him over drafting Harrison. Gotcha. I'm surprised you didn't go Burrow, but I wouldn't have gotten Caleb. I wasn't getting either of them. I was getting sniped by the Jamar Chase drafter. I was getting sniped by the Loveland drafter. I kind of accepted my fate when I took Tyler Warren. I think he's a better click than those quarterbacks, honestly. But I thought I would at least have Herbert available. Today, we go with Goff and Tyler Shuck. But Caleb can run, is fairly accurate. I'll take low interception rate over low completion rate. With a solid play caller and plenty of weapons, it seems like a great pick at QB 7-9. In his opinion, it's a fine click for sure. It feels like some of the quarterbacks, though, that go in the 6th round, specifically Caleb, Jalen Hurts, and Joe Burrow, feel like they could be going around later, but they go there because of the stack, specifically. They're fine clicks in a vacuum, especially if they run like Caleb and Jalen Hurts, but I think unstacked, they look a little bit less justified than taking them in the 6th round when they are stacked. But his ceiling was 20 points per game, says Conman. Kind of already forgot who we're talking about, but I'm faded. I'm high. That's also relevant. But my numbers are in love with Baker, actually, says Austin. That's why I drafted Egbuka. I was hoping Baker would fall to me, but Baker and Herbert are my 2 best quarterback values from an ADP standpoint on the board overall. Good to know. Very interesting to know that. Given how much Herbert I have, it's good to know. Honestly, it makes me more confident. But Malik Willis is still here. I have De'Von Achane, so that is the pick I'm going to make. I think it would have been a little underwhelming to go with Daniel Jones again. I could have taken Cam Ward with Wan'Dale, but Malik, I think, has the higher upside any given week. And I think with Achane, it's a little bit more appealing. It's interesting. After Baker, I took Shuck, and then I also took Malik Willis. No other quarterbacks went off the board other than to my team. From picks 115 to 139. 2 full rounds where I was the only one drafting quarterback there. Kind of interesting. At least I got Goff. having Goff, I think, feels very valuable. But the Burgess goes Stribling and Debo. I was hopeful I could get Debo Samuel at 150. So I'm glad I got the volume with Wandale. The floor is okay, but I'm going to need some receivers coming up. I think I'm done at tight end on this one. I think I'm done at quarterback. I'm not interested in a Juwan Johnson or what's his face, Dulcich anymore. I think with Goff, Shuck, and Malik Willis, I think that's fine. Maybe I could tolerate Juwan Johnson, but I'm not going to take him here. I'm going to see if he falls back around. But Jalen McMillan is still on the board. In terms of my rankings, I have him well over everyone else. I have him at 136 overall. My next highest ranked receiver is at 151. So Jalen McMillan, come on down. I like him a lot. The Baker drafter was the next team. Sorry, Fantasy Fitness, you do not get the backstack with Baker. You already had Chris Godwin. You already had Bucky Irving, so at least you had something. But you're not getting Jalen McMillan. If you wanted him, you needed him instead of Omar Cooper. In a draft with me, I'm actually surprised I passed on McMillan in the 12th round, actually. I think if Debo wasn't an expected option, I would have just taken McMillan. I like him a lot there. However, the fall on Malik, I think, helped my team a lot. I was not passing on Jalen at 150, though. I will say, though, Caleb was a little bit inconsistent last year. A little bit up and down. And the wins of Chicago might still impact that 4,000 passing yard season. That could be a slight dilemma. But I mentioned I was a little bit worried about this contest filling. So I'm actually going to go and check it out. I might have to multi-table for a few rounds. But what's the deal? The mini Schnauzer is down to its last 1,200 entries. I'm going to make this pick, and then I'm going to enter another one, and we will multi-table for the first 4 rounds. But I think I'm just hopping in to the last Schnauzer of the afternoon. I can probably hold off a little bit, but I'm very tempted to just enter right now. But, coming back around on the clock here, we can't go Zach Charbonnet. He already went off the board. I think I'm just going to go Tank Bigsby. Get back in at running back. A player I like. Yeah. Never afraid to click Tank Bigsby. But I think I actually have enough time to wait. I think I have a few minutes. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save all the team reviews for the end. We have Keith, Game Tight. Bukowski's in here. Oh, shit. Bukowski's in here, too. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. But I might need to enter the mini Schnauzer pretty soon, given the fill rate. It won't be open for much longer. But Danimal says, skip my review. You got it, Danimal. You get a lot of them, so you go with another triple tight end with bully strategy. You took Bowers, Loveland, and Kittle. Wow. This lobby must be very interesting at tight end. Burgess has Kincaid and TJ Hawkinson. Dakota has Fannin and Helm. Chad has Kelsey, Hunter Henry, and Dalton Schultz. Interesting. I'm not dying to draft Kamara right now, but I do have Shuck, so I think it kind of makes a little bit of sense, actually. Yeah, who knows what'll happen. I'll go with Kamara. I'll take Alvin Kamara. I don't have anyone to pair with Shuck, so we'll get the running back who could catch a lot of passes. I'm okay with that. Achane, Scatabo, Rico Dowdle, Tank Bigsby, and Alvin Kamara. I can stop with those 5. I think that's chill. I think that's totally fine. And Kamara at 174, he's been moving up the board lately, so get him at a discount. That is fine with me. But okay, let me refresh on this Schnauzer. How many teams are still left available? There are still about 1,070. So yeah, I think I have enough time. We have 3 more clicks. I'll just make those clicks, and then we'll do it. I'm not gonna force myself to multi-table just for the sake of it. But Bukowski says, "Skip me, bro. Not a member yet." No worries then. You always leave comments. You're always watching after the fact, so I would love to extend the courtesy, but for the sake of time, I appreciate that. But favorite quarterback wide receiver stack week 1 in DFS. Interesting. I think Tyler Shuck and Chris Olave are going to dominate against the Lions. I think that's a phenomenal matchup. I think Egbuka and Baker week 1 are going to crush as well. They get the Bengals. That's going to be a really good game. I don't think I want Allen stacked up week 1 against the Texans. That's not great. I forget some of the matchups, but I think those are the 2 that come to mind first. I think the Olave and Tyler Shuck stack is going to be awesome. I also think Baker and Egbuka is going to look amazing. Neither team, I think, are locks to win those games, but I think in terms of stats, I think they will play very, very well. Did Keenan Allen already go? He did not. I will just take him. I need receivers. I will go Keenan Allen in round 16. Round 17, round 16, round 15, round 18, what's the difference? At this point, it's all the same. And I think he's a very good pick. At cost, he will pay off. So come on down, Keenan Allen. I did pass on Jerry Jeudy. I'm okay with that. But Pepper Tony, can you review me in the 6 hole? I'll take a look at my team for sure, yeah. I'll take a look at mine. But isn't Shuck Olave Gibbs a high-owned stack? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea what the percentages on that are in DFS. I'm not monitoring that closely. If it is, it makes a lot of sense. That Lions-Saints game is going to be a very high-scoring one, if you ask me. I think that's a game you want. So, the Jared Goff Amon-Ra combo is pretty good. The Justin Herbert matchup's pretty interesting week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals. That should be interesting. I imagine Stafford lights it up in Australia week 1, so Puka is a good stack. There's a lot of obvious names, but those ones come to mind in terms of maybe a little bit different ones. But back on the clock here, I think I want just another receiver. It's between Pat Bryant and Torrey Horton. I think I'm actually going to trust touchdowns a little bit more on this one. I'm going to go Torrey Horton first. I have JSN, so if there's ever a week where somebody else steps up in Seattle, I think it is going to be Torrey Horton a little bit. I think you can trust him as long as he's healthy. I think he will pay off his ADP. I've been trying to get back in on my Torrey Horton shares. I had a shit ton of them last year. This year, I had a shit ton in pre-draft, and I kind of pumped the brakes, so I'm happy to mix him in a few times. I still believe in him quite a bit. He looked so good when healthy last year. On minimal volume, I think he looks a little bit better this season. But who do you like in week 3 preseason DFS? Yeah, on that, just give me Kimani Vidal. In that, I think Kimani Vidal is the best play. But Gnostic Informant says, Tyson going to outperform Olave. Watch. Maybe down the stretch in a year or two. Maybe. But year 1, I wouldn't expect that. Year 1, I think that's a little bit too bold of a stance to take. But if you're only saying in week 1, any given week, that's possible. Yeah, that could happen any given week. But on the season, I wouldn't say that. Speaking of Kimani Vidal, he goes at 205. My team, I think, should take Honestly, I think I can get away with the receiver room I've built, but I think I should probably take another one. Running back looks chill enough to stop. I think it's all fine. Here, though, where are we going? Is Kayshon Boutte still there? I don't think so. No, he got taken. I queued up Pat Bryant on the last one, so I might just take him on this in this round. I could go Devon Vele for this stack, but that seems gross. Christian Kirk is already injured, but obviously the Ricky Pearsall thing makes him more interesting. You know what? I'm actually going to go Christian Kirk. Fuck it. I'll take him. Why not? I get it. He might just be washed, but on a random team, I think I'm still willing to have like 3% Christian Kirk. So I haven't taken him in a minute. At the moment, the Ricky Pearsall injury helps him on the season, but he might not be healthy week 1, so that might have been a wasted pick. Who knows? I'm okay with it, but it's all right. But Skip My Review says game type, my team is fire. Well, now I want to see it, but is there anyone that's usually not in here that gets a team review? Nah, I'll wait till the end. I'll do them at the end. Let's just draft one more mini Schnauzer. This contest is going to fill very soon, and definitely by the time I'm done with this draft, it'll be closed. So this is my last chance to enter. I will do it, and this is the last draft of the day. Entering the mini Schnauzer in... I'm actually going to enter 2. I've done 8 of them. I kind of like having a solid 10 to close with. I'm going to enter 2, so I'm just going to do it. Join with me if you want. And one of them has 7 spots. The other one has 10 spots. If you want in, you can definitely get in. Enter 12. Maybe I should do some slows, Pepper Tony. I'm okay not doing that. I'm fine with it without it. But all right, let's see. Which pick did we get? Pick 6 again. Bummer. I did not want pick 6. And then the other one is almost full. This one we got pick 8. That's better. That is a little bit better. But Quaid, Kirk's 5 touchdowns last 3 years doesn't inspire me. What about the playoff game? What about his playoff game with like 170 yards? But Austin says 1.7 in both. Fuck my life. We are right next to each other in both of them. Of course we are. But all right, we're going to multi-table. This one will get chaotic. But this will give me a full 10 drafts in this one. Feels like a good round number. Good luck, everyone. Good fucking luck. But I believe our boy Who Hames is live streaming now. Yeah, it's after 2 o'clock. So after this, I will definitely redirect you guys to Who Hames' channel. Good friend of the channel and always a fun live stream. I'm definitely going to want to catch it after this. But I am on the clock here. I could just go CMC again, and I think I will. Let's do it. Let's take him. So we'll just periodically flip between the other two teams, and I'll just try and catch you up as we go through them. But Ashton Genty goes pick 5. That's interesting. I kind of thought maybe I'd get a little different and pull someone up like Genty on this team, so not going to happen. But Genty over JSN, not the most insane thing to do. Yo, JSN at pick 8? Yup. So both teams today either start off with Christian McCaffrey or Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I've recently been coming around to JSN being a better pick than I used to think. Maybe I just got scared because I didn't have much of him and I didn't want to get burned with my exposures or something, but I think he's a better pick than I originally thought. Starting double running back always feels decent, so I'll go CMC and Devon Achane. And then on this one, we got JSN from the 8 slot. I think that one's just going to be top of ADP. No matter who it is, I think that's just the only way to play it. Getting the 3-pick slide on JSN. Hopefully we get a slide on somebody else too. Like, if we get a JSN Saquon team, that'd be pretty insane. But I'm probably just taking top ADP on this one. But we'll see who it is. I'll take a rip from the pipe first. Let's have some fun. All right. Hampton goes. You know that's who I wanted, but didn't expect it. No way I expected that. But I have seen it happen. Sometimes it does happen. But Keith has taken his time. He's going with Saquon. And then Chase Brown goes, Ken Walker, come on down. A JSN Ken Walker team feels very nice. Let's go. And then we'll see what happens here. But I think I know exactly what direction I want to go in. I'm hoping this team takes Breece Hall. He goes Olave. Damn it. But Neighbors is still here, so I'm just going to take Neighbors over Breece Hall. At pick 30, 100% give me Neighbors. Okay. A McCaffrey, Achane, Neighbors team. That feels pretty fun. And then the other one has JSN and Kenneth Walker. But I think my chat has frozen. I don't have a message since this. So let me try and reset it. Looks like only one comment since then. But I'm going to do completely different strategies in both, though. I think that's the way to play. I think especially if you get the same pick at the same time, you should have totally different teams. On this one, Austin's going Cook, Bowers, and Kyron. And then we'll take a look at his other one when we're on the clock there. But I think I'm going to be on the clock on this team first, actually. This one's moving much faster than the other one. Breasting, testes. I have no idea why you wrote that. The fuck, Pepper Tony? What is this supposed to mean? Okay. Get your mind out of the gutter, brother. The fuck does that mean? Okay, CMC, Achane, and Neighbors. Is this a Scatabo team? Maybe. Both picks are going to line up. I'm on the clock on both of them right now. That's annoying. I trust Garrett Wilson more than Tet, and now I'm here on the board in the third round. I'm going to go Chris Olave. I feel better about Chris Olave than I do Breece Hall. There's an argument just take the top of ADP, but I still got a falling value with Olave there. And I just don't feel great about Chris Olave. The contract they just gave Olave confirms that they intend to use him. For that not to drag on at all, for that to only last one day, and then he signs a new deal, like, that's pretty clear. They need him. They know it. They have the money to spend. They're giving him the deal. Everything feels good. Only one day of negotiation. That's a good sign. But A-Rod missed out today. Bummer. I'm not usually live this early, but we'll redirect you over to Huhaim's channel when this is over. And I just wanted to get in before this contest filled. And now I have my afternoon all to myself. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to try and record a video, a win-loss pick video later today. Try and hopefully have that posted maybe tomorrow. But I do have some plans as well this evening. We'll see what happens. But okay. This is the team from pick 6. A little bit more normal team. This team doesn't have a running back yet, so I think JMO's going to fall back to me. And if he does, I'm taking JMO for sure. No, he goes. Interesting. Kind of a bummer. But I'll just take Roma Dunze. I do kind of just trust him at the end of the day. I feel pretty good about it. And then here, I'll take Scatabo as well. But actually, I'll go Garrett Wilson. I'll stick with ADP discounts. Because of the Kenneth Walker JSN combo, I kind of just want to stick with who's less likely to make it. In the earlier rounds, it is worth something, and having the anchor with Ken Walker is totally fine. The receiver room feels so strong right now. We have the 3 teammates at Ohio State. JSN, Olave, and Garrett Wilson, they're teammates on my roster. What could go wrong? If anything, reuniting them is just like more Buckeye firepower, good vibes, good omen. We'll get all 3 Ohio State teammates on the same team. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave were drafted a year before JSN, but they both said JSN was the best player on the team. Maybe on my team, that's also the case. But this one's coming back around pretty soon. We started with CMC, Achane, Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Roma Dunze. On this side of the board, there's the Burden Loveland drafter. That's Eagles' team. There's no way I get Caleb to make it back, so that was kind of the point of drafting Rome. But looking at the board, there's no chance I'm getting Caleb at 78. And on this one, Tyler Warren is already off the board, so based on all the rankings, nothing is that inspiring. I'm going to go Caleb with Roma Dunze on this team. Stacked up, it makes more sense. I think he should go in the 7th round, but I had Rome already, so it justifies it. In best ball, you just want the stack, so we'll make this one of our Caleb teams. I mentioned I thought it was a little odd someone took him at the 6-7 turn, but I just took him at 67 overall, so there's probably no reason to really question someone doing it, but I have seen Caleb fall into the 80s. I have some teams with Caleb that late, and it feels really good. One of them is in Best Ball Mania with Steve Shout from the Fanspeak Network. We drafted from like the 10 slot, and we got Roma Dunze in the 6th round, and then we took Caleb at pick 82 in the 7th. That was awesome. That felt amazing. On the clock here, JMO does make it back on this team, and the run on running back has already taken place, so I'll just lean into this team's strength. We'll take Jameson Williams at a big falling discount. I wanted him on the last team, so it's nice to get the consolation of him on the second team. But ADP 50 overall, 56 is where I drafted him. This team feels pretty strong at wideout. Wasn't Jameson Williams one of their teammates? I think JMO played on Ohio State as well and then transferred over to Alabama because it was just so crowded. Yo, that's amazing. We get all 4 of the Buckeye teammates reuniting on this team. That's a good omen. That is a very good omen. Ramondre's still on the board. I don't have a shit ton of Ramondre, and I already have a quarterback, so I think I'll just take Ramondre. I got a lot more Travion Henderson, but I still think Ramondre is a decent pick, and I take Herbert so much more often than him. We will go with Ramondre today. But, sorry, the wrong chat. Pepper Tony, are you not a fan of the Scatabo pick? Are you not on board? On this team, I think I will go Jaden Daniels. Today, I think I will go Jaden. A justified unstacked pick. I worry about him staying healthy, but as long as he is on the field, he is a top 5 quarterback. And most of the time, I can still just get Herbert at pick 80 overall. I'll just go Jaden Daniels. I actually rank Herbert above Jaden Daniels, but only by one spot. Jaden is my QB5. Herbert is my QB4. But we're on the board in round 8. And Rico Dowdle is still there. A minor fall, but still a falling price. And I just can't pass it up. I love clicking Rico in the 8th round. I think he's a 7th round pick. I think he's actually just as valuable as Tony Pollard, but a little bit more crowded type of backfield in terms of a 1-2 punch. I think Pollard gets more snaps than Rico, but I think they both give you over 1,000 rushing yards and about 7 touchdowns plus on the season. Dowdle is one of the best discounts that is still a good starter. So on this team, we have CMC, Achane, Ramondre Stevenson, and Rico Dowdle. A little bit expensive at running back, but feels very strong. I can ignore it for several rounds, and that's going to be a nice way to play this. Moving forward, we'll ignore running back as it starts to get disgusting. We'll just take one more on that team. But this one is the polar opposite. We only have one running back through the first 6 rounds. This draft is going much, much slower than the other one. But we have Jaden Daniels, the elite upside, at least, at quarterback. Herbert went to Bellman with Quentin Johnston at the 6-7 turn. And look at that. Caleb is falling back. Look at that. He almost makes it. He goes to Burgess's team. And I don't mind it. On both of these teams, I'm going to have Ramondre Stevenson. I do not mind it. On this one, it makes more sense, if anything, to have him behind Kenneth Walker is more valuable than his running back 3 paired up with Rico. But this team has neighbors. I'm going to go Jackson Dart. I already have some Purdy teams already, so we'll get the Jackson Dart Malik Neighbors stack. Both of them had the same bye week, but even though it's stacked up with McCaffrey, I'm willing to just get Dart on this one. Caleb Williams with Roma Dunze, Jackson Dart with Malik Neighbors. Checks out. But got to get Harrison Jr. now. I'm not going to fall for that, Chad. I'm not going to push that. That, I think, is asking to lose. But who's your favorite 2-3 picks past round 7? Think about this response as a time capsule. Okay, I'm about to be on the board, so give me a second just to think about it. I'll get back to you. But who's my favorite 2-3 picks past round 7? Gotcha. Okay. I think one of them right now should be Deebo Samuel. I've taken a lot of Deebo this summer. Another one is Tank Bigsby. I think he's just so inexpensive. I take a shit ton of Tank Bigsby. And then otherwise, let me think on that just a little bit longer. Godwin here makes a lot of sense. Even though my receiver room is really strong, I think it makes a lot of sense. But I'm tempted to just go Blake Corum, because I kind of need some running back points. And I don't have much Corum. I'm a little worried about getting burned. So I have 4 really strong receivers. I think it just wasn't as critical for the team I will go Blake Corum today, just because I already had 4 really good wideouts. And he also wasn't a Buckeye. If Godwin had played for the Ohio State Buckeyes, I might feel differently about that pick. But we're back on the clock. It's our selection, and nothing is really speaking to me, honestly. That's kind of gross. I think I'm just going to take Wandale because I need some receiver points. I think that makes the most sense. We're passing on Ricky Pearsall right now with the flared up knee. Could be a major problem. Given his injury risk, it's not good. So I'll pass on him there. We've seen him go much later. But okay, back to your question. Does this include round 7 or is this like round 8 and later? Because if it includes round 7, it's Justin Herbert, 100%. Past round 7, so he's out of the equation, I think Michael Pittman is probably the most obvious pick right now. I didn't take him, but the team kind of needed something else. I already had good receivers, but I think Michael Pittman is in that category. I think some of those quarterbacks in the 9th round are also in that range. Round 9 quarterback feels very, very strong. Brock Purdy, I think, is one of them. Losing Pearsall, though, is not great. I think Dalton Kincaid is becoming one of my darlings. One of my favorite picks for sure. To narrow it down to just 2 or 3 is kind of tough, but based on guys I click a shit ton right now, Dalton Kincaid, Deebo Samuel, and Tank Bigsby. But if we're including round 7, throw Justin Herbert in there. For sure. All right. These clicks are going to converge. They're going to line up at the same time. I think this one's going to be on the clock first, so I'll pivot to this team. And this team kind of needs receiver a little bit. But it doesn't have tight end yet. I just mentioned Kincaid. I love him. I have Kincaid ranked above Mark Andrews. I'm taking Kincaid on this one all day. But the other one is about to be on the clock. And like we expected, Ricky Pearsall still on the board. Wow, Rachaad White. Oh, it was only pick 103. Okay, pick 103 is different. Some stacking partners. I think just taking Goff would make some sense. But I think I got it in. I'm going to go Kenny Gainwell, actually. My running back room is weird. The double Kenneth. They did change Gainwell's first name to Kenny, but it's really Kenneth. We get the double Kenneth correlation. I think they're very good picks on this one. And honestly, I think I can just fade quarterback a little bit longer because I still have several backstack options, and it's possible that Goff is just there on the board with my next pick. I might just get Goff at 113, but we'll see about B. Diddy Motor City. He took Myers. He doesn't have a quarterback yet, but he only has 3 receivers. He might push it once again. We will see. He has Taylor, Hampton, Javonte, Dowdle, and Chuba Hubbard. Ladd, Tate, Myers, and Tyler Warren. He goes Golden. Yeah, he did not take quarterback. So I can still just get Goff right here. Shuck makes some sense as well, but if anything, he might make it back. I will go Jared Goff with JMO. The other team is about to be on the clock, though, so it's a little scatterbrained on this stream, but we're multi-tabling. That's just kind of what happens. ADP says Keaton Mitchell. Fuck that. I have Wandale. I kind of want to go with Cam Ward a little bit, but Deebo just went. I might need to reach on... Actually, I don't trust him. I'm going to go Cam Ward. I'm just going to take the 3rd quarterback. I don't give a shit. It opens up Gunnar Helm, but Wandale was on this thumbnail today, and to take him twice unstacked, I think, is not my preferred course of action. I didn't stack him up on the first one. I'll stack him up on the second one here. Even though the quarterback room is strong, I never feel too angry about a 3 quarterback room. We'll get away with it, but we're in round 10 on the other one. And actually, I think the team we just drafted will be on the board first. But I'll stay on this one. I'll recap this team because we're in round 10. It's a good spot to recap it. This was that spot from pick 8 where we started off JSN, Ken Walker. We went Olave, Garrett Wilson, J-Mo, Jaden Daniels, Ramondre Stevenson, Blake Corum, Kenneth Gainwell, and Jared Goff. The team feels strong at quarterback, deep at running back with the anchor of Walker, and then the 4 Ohio State receivers very strong in the first 5 rounds at wideout. But the other team is on the clock in round 13, and Stribling is still here. I'm glad I didn't pull up Stribling, actually. He's been moving up the board, and I will just take him today. I'm willing to take it. At 150, feels like I'm getting the cheapest price on Stribling today. If anything, he'll be much higher than 150 pretty fast. Burgess already took Debo, so he was 100% taking Stribling. If I had to guess, he was on his mind. Recapping this team, though, we have a 3-4-5-1 with Caleb Williams, Jackson Dart, and Cam Ward. Very good running quarterback room, but if Dart does miss time, which he probably will, we'll have a good backup option in Ward, who is stacked up with Wan'Dale Robinson. But Christian McCaffrey, I'm on the clock on the other team, though. We have to wait. Chris Rodriguez is here, but Kincaid is also still... It's just Kincaid. Yep, it's Dalton Kincaid. Love Kincaid. But like I mentioned, this team with the Caleb, Dart, and Ward has CMC, Devon Achane, Ramondre Stevenson, and Rico Dowdle. Very strong running back room. Receiver room has Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Roma Dunze, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Dejon Stribling. Tight end has Dalton Kincaid. A lot of upside on this team as well. But I think both picks are going to line up in terms of on the clock, but this one should happen first. So let me plan out this pick, see what I want. A Tank Bigsby selection is always on the table. I can't draft quarterback, but my tight end room is kind of thin. What does tight end look like? I'm going to pass here, actually, on tight end. I think the play is either receiver or running back, and if I take Bigsby here, I'm just done. Bigsby got sniped, actually. Shit. Fuck. And then I'm on the clock on the other team. Damn it. I kind of like Tesla for contingent upside. I'll go Tesla, and then with 10 seconds on the other one, shit. Chigo Conquo would stack. It would make a lot of sense to just go Chigo Conquo. I have Jaden Daniels. Give me Chigo Conquo. Double week 7 with Kincaid and Okonkwo, but who cares? Who gives a shit? Let's chill for a sec. Let's let it breathe. Burgess has ran out of time and auto-picked Ricky Pearsall. Fuck my life. The multi-tabling will get you. You go Ricky Pearsall at 114. Well, I had a shit ton of Ricky Pearsall in the 90s recently, so fuck my life, right? It might still be okay. He might still be on the field. It might be okay. The Fantasy Football Enjoyer says all great choices that I agree with. I'm enamored with Bigsy's profile as well, in particular. I consistently get him in the 190-200 range on Sleeper. Justin Jolie is my favorite down that. Damn, Justin Jolie I don't take very often. I will say that. But I never take Ingram, so I can understand the argument. But okay. Dalton Schultz goes. I would have liked to draft him. But I've been talking myself into Jerry Jeudy. But this team has Cam Ward. I'm going to go with Gunnar Helm on this one. I'll take Gunnar Helm. And then we'll take a look at the other roster. Plan this one out. Jaden Daniels with Chigo Conquo. Jared Goff with J-Mo. Ken Walker, Ramondre Stevenson, Corum, Gainwell, and then a loaded receiver room so far. But getting back in at receiver might be the move. I don't want CJ Stroud, though. I think I'm going to stop at 2 quarterbacks on this one. The other one has 3. I'm going to stop at 2 with the Jaden Daniels team. But Debo Samuel still on the board. Burgess did not take him. I'm taking Debo at 152. He went Hunter Henry. A bit of a shock. I'll take Debo over Jalen McMillan, actually. I think he'll be on the Niners. I think he will sign with the Niners. He might sign with the Commanders, which would give me the stack. So that'd be even better. But I doubt it. Jerry Jeudy goes to Danimal. Getting sniped on Jeudy. Not the end of the world. Not going to complain about it. If anything, saves me from a bad pick. But I'm not taking Dulcich. I'm not taking Mendoza. I think getting back in at running back might make some sense. And I think I might just go Kalen Black on this one. Round 16, Kalen Black after Keenan Allen just got taken. Yeah. I will go Kalen Black. We'll just anchor ourselves to the Niners backfield. McCaffrey with Kalen Black every week. I have the Niners starter. That's good with me. I can stop with 5 on that team. But back on the board with this one. This one does have Jared Goff. So Tesla is going to be on both teams here. I kind of want to take Zach Charbonnet. But it's a long wait to the next round. I'm going to go Tesla here because I just don't think I need running back as badly. Give me Tesla, the double stack in Detroit. I like Tesla. I think he's a good pick. The contingent value is mostly where it's at, but I think it's a very good pick. Especially when you have Goff. It makes more sense. But Sleeper is so much fun to draft on, says Fantasy Football Enjoyer, because the market is incredibly inefficient. It's like no one pays attention to news. They just want to draft a lot. Aren't they just mock drafts, though? Last I checked, Sleeper is not for, like, real cash. There's not a big prize pool up for grabs on Sleeper, last I checked. But, not totally sure. Anyways, I haven't drafted on Sleeper in a minute, but I should probably check it out because one of the leagues I'm in this year is going to be hosted on Sleeper. I should probably take a look at what the values are like over there. But where do I want to go with this team? We have 2 clicks left. I need a receiver for sure. I've been trying to click Kayshon Boutte a few times. I'm going to go with Kayshon Boutte on this one. I think he plays even unstacked. I think he's a solid, decent option. High touchdown production last year. Some upside when he hit. He wasn't bad. But I have Kincaid and Gunnar Helm. I think I want a third tight end, honestly. And I think I'm going to get a little bit different with this one. I think I'm going to scroll down, take a dart at tight end. I can either go Theo Johnson or Cole Kmet. I can grab either of them. And I think I'm actually going to go Cole Kmet on this one. If someone wants to snipe me, I guess be my guest. But, wow, Njoku at 173. Didn't expect that. That's kind of weird. J. Rune, a believer in David Njoku. But what am I looking at here? Round 15, Tank Dell goes. Running back looking a little bit disgusting, but Brian Robinson, given their quarterback situation, they might just lean on the run a little bit more this year. I think Brian Robinson has some standalone value. I'll go B-Rob. This team, I can afford 6 running backs if I want, because I'm only going 2 quarterbacks. My receiver room, I think, is good enough to stop at 7. I already have 6 of them. But that other team is on the clock, and I think I'm going to get my first share of Cole Kmet today. I took Caleb Williams a little early, so I think I'm going to do it. I kind of want to take Theo Johnson, though. I actually think there's a safer path for Theo. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go Theo Johnson with Jackson Dart. They have chemistry already, and I don't trust Isaiah Likely as much as I trust Colston Loveland. I almost took Kmet, but I think I'd rather have Theo Johnson. So I'll do it, get a little bit different. I have enough time to recap the team. We went Caleb with Rome, Jackson Dart with Neighbors and Theo Johnson. Cam Ward with Wandale and Gunnar Helm. Running back room has CMC, Devon Achane, Ramondre Stevenson, Rico Dowdle, and Kalen Black. Receiver room has Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Roma Dunze, Wandale Robinson, Dejon Stribling, Isaac Tesla, and Kayshawn Booty. Tight end has 3 of them with Kincaid, Gunnar Helm, and Theo Johnson. Back to this other team, though, went much slower. We're only in round 16. We have 3 clicks left. But Pepper Tony saying likely hate needs to stop. I have 10% likely. I have a lot of Isaiah Likely. I'm willing to mix it up, go a little differently. But our conversation with Who Hames definitely sold me that maybe it's worth mixing in Theo Johnson. But what does receiver look like? Keenan Allen is still available. I'm just taking Keenan Allen. My wide receiver 7, Keenan Allen, feels pretty strong. Overall, this team is loaded at wideout. JSN Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Deebo Samuel, Isaac Tesla, and Keenan Allen. We got the cheat codes with the free agent veterans, Deebo and Keenan. Quarterback, we said we're going to stop with Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff. Running back, though, has Ken Walker, Ramondre, Corum, Gainwell, and B-Rob. I think I can afford a 6th. I think I will take number 6, actually. And just shoot for upside. But tight end, I think I need one more as well. The last 2 picks, running back and tight end, make the most sense. But P.O. Johnson, says Pepper Tony, not a fan. There were a few drops I didn't like to see. Obviously, the higher upside is likely for sure, but I think mixing in a random Theo Johnson isn't crazy. I don't think so. But what I'm going to do is redirect y'all to Who Hames' channel after this is over. We'll do a couple team reviews, but I'm going to make sure our boy Who Hames gets the flow of traffic. If you guys are interested, we'll leave his link right here, because at this stage, we're basically done with the draft. We only have 2 clicks left, but if you guys want to check out Who Hames, this is the link to his live stream. He is live right now with Zane, and I'll definitely be heading over there afterwards. But I might skip the team reviews. But, yeah, I might just head out. Because in this one, we have Keith in here, Austin in here. Nobody else I really recognize. And then I'm not sure about the other one, but I don't think I'm going to go back and review any other teams from that second draft. Just don't think we have time. Don't think I really want to. I think so. I'm just going to go Sean Tucker with Kenny Gainwell. Feels like a good way to play it. Just the full fade on Bucky. And I do kind of feel like at one point Sean Tucker will have a smash week. So the 2 of them together feels pretty solid. Kenneth Walker, Ramondre Stevenson, Blake Corum, Kenny Gainwell, Brian Robinson, and Sean Tucker. The running back room feels pretty legit despite waiting after only sticking with Kenneth Walker. Honestly, I feel pretty good about it. And then receiver feels really loaded. Very strong at receiver. Tight end, we'll draft one more. And I might get a little bit different with it. Maybe take a guy I haven't taken much of yet. That might be the move here. But Freiermuth goes to B. Diddy Motor City. I like taking Freiermuth, but I have a lot of him. And similar to Theo Johnson, Who Hames kind of talked me into maybe clicking a random swing on somebody else that I just never take. So I think I'm going to go with Darnell Washington here. I have so much Freiermuth. But I also have... Oh, no, this team doesn't have any Titans. That's the other one. But just for the sake of exposure, I'll click it once. For $3, give me 1 Darnell Washington share. Why not? Let's go Darnell Washington. Vamonos, brother. You'll need to step up week 7. I believe he's in Paris in that game. I believe it's against the Saints, if I'm not mistaken. But on this one, we have Jaden Daniels and Jared Goff. Daniels is stacked up with Chigo Okonkwo. At least there's that. He might also be stacked with Deebo Samuel, potentially. Last year he was. We'll see what happens this season. But at running back, Walker, Ramondre, Corum, Gainwell, B-Rob, and Sean Tucker. Receiver, JSN, Olave, Garrett Wilson, J-Mo, Deebo, Isaac Tesla, and Keenan Allen. Tight end has Dalton Kincaid, Chigo Okonkwo, and Darnell Washington. Very fun team. I like this one a lot. And then the other team, a reminder on how that one went. We took Caleb Williams, Jackson Dart, and Cam Ward. I handcuffed Christian McCaffrey with Kalen Black in San Francisco. Every week I have their starter. That feels pretty safe to project because Jordan James suffered a rib injury. But Devon Achane, Ramondre Stevenson, and Rico Dowdle, I have very good options in the flex and a lot of different bye weeks. So tolerating the Kalen Black handcuff is pretty good. Neighbors, though, at this point, I just trust him as a good pick. Garrett Wilson, Rome Odunze. Rome is stacked. Wandale is also stacked. Dijon Stribling on this team. Isaac Tesla. Keyshawn Butte. And then the tight end room has Kincaid, Gunnar Helm, and Theo Johnson. But B. Diddy Motor City says, stacking Tennessee and Pittsburgh feels so gross. Tried a heavy running back build and not a big fan of it from the 12. Yeah, that matchup could be a lot tougher than we expect, but I don't fear the Steelers' defense this year very much, other than Joey Porter Jr. Maybe Robert Saleh figures it out, but they don't have much talent in Tennessee, so that game could still be interesting. I think there's a few pieces that might be relevant, but overstacking it feels a little bit unwise. It's not the worst game to focus on, but it's definitely not the best. Probably not the best game, but in this one, we had Game Tight Danimal and Burgess. I think we'll give Burgess one team review. Cook, Bowers, Kyron, Scatterboat, Tyler Warren, Daniel Jones, Justin Herbert, Laporta. Way too many tight ends. So expensive at tight end. Your first receiver is Michael Wilson. Baker Mayfield as well. So the triple quarterback, triple tight end strategy, all of them taken by the 10th round. I wouldn't do it. Then you took Diggs, Debo, Flournoy, Tank Dell, Ted Hurst, Keenan Allen, Torrey Horton, and Jalen Tolbert. The 3-3-9-3 from Burgess. I mean, great tight ends, great quarterbacks. Running back, a little bit shaky, actually. But receiver just feels like it's just not quite enough. Even with 9 of them. Good luck, Burgess. Good luck, Austin. All right, I think that's going to be it for me, though. I think we're going to move on. I think we're going to say goodbye. And like I said, we redirected you to Huhaim's stream right now. Definitely head over there if you want. I've actually added it to this video. Once I'm done, it will just send you right over to that live stream. But that's going to be it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Goodbye. See you guys next time.